burning up. Now the sun gone down. Lights in the distance. A forgotten town. Now I'm on my way. Oh, I'm on my way. So stand on the edge of the world with me.
Hello and welcome to tonight's stream. This is Robert Hazelney from Doadrift Esports, handing you over now to Zach Cabin and Nick O'Pop in commentary.
Thank you, Rob. You're joining us on the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club tonight. We are in the TCRs at Brands Hatch for the Production Car Series. Joining me in commentary is Zach.
Yes, very good evening, Nick. Hi, everyone. Second last one for May. What would normally be one of the biggest motorsport weekends of the year isn't to be in 2020, but we still get to start the weekend on the right note, which is the main thing. And, of course, it's another double header, mates. Much like the last couple of weeks, we're going to start in Great Britain and head over to North America and two really top-notch motor racing circuits tonight, of course. You can see on your screen there, folks, the Brands Hatch circuit in England, playing host to the latest round of the Production Car Championship that we've been bringing you through the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club here over the last few weeks. And then, of course, the stock cars. They hit Watkins Glen, which is a circuit very, very familiar to Australian fans of the sport of NASCAR, because that's where Marcus Ambrose featured so prominently in his NASCAR ventures, and already a few drivers testing the limits here in production car qualifying.
Yeah, it's not long to go now. We got just ticked over 14 minutes out of the 20. And we got Michael Hammertime Hammond leading on a 32.8 from Shane Witt on a 32.9, and Coco Attard on a 33 flat. As we watch Craig Russell, I'll get it eventually. Craig Rusty Russell going through turn one there. He was actually the founding father of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club. So it's great to see him back. He's driving from Tassie at the moment. So is Michael Hammertime Hammond. So got a couple of Tassies in the field. And
nothing wrong with that. The Apple Isle.
That's right.
They're holding their own in this series. Hey, 14. You can see on your screen there, we've got a few of the cars still circulating around in this qualifying session, trying to muster out a fast one, punch out some Hollywood numbers. But what we should point out, folks, is it's a little bit of a smaller field tonight, Nick. Just the 14 cars. And unfortunately, there on your screen, Craig Russell finding the grass.
Yeah, he's
in
off,
the back
off
section
track
of the
there.
circuit.
So... Yeah, he's off track. And we got a couple people waiting in pit lane, but myself, I'm not going to qualify and the like.
Well, that's very common ground for you, Nick. You like to burn from the stern, as you say?
Yeah, burn from the stern and make some gains and let everybody do some crazy stuff in front.
Now, we should point out, of course, a big thanks to Central Coast Subaru and LJ Hooker Gaindar for their ongoing support of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club. Have a look at Shane Witt, just going rallycross driving almost in these TCR cars. They're a terrific car, of course. They've really dominated the motor racing landscape around the country in recent times, Nick. We're really looking forward to seeing the boys have a play in them tonight. I guess we look back at last week and you think of the Mazda MX-5, and that's probably the signature production car that so many of us look at in terms of just its longevity in production car racing. So too probably Mitsubishi Eva. But TCR's taking it to a whole new level in the last couple of years. It is the global phenomenon. We're so much, very much looking forward to it returning to our racetracks here in Australia once COVID-19 is behind us. It's nice that we can incorporate something very new. I guess it's probably the only appropriate word to put here. Something very new, something modern, something that has a great fan base into our series here. And one of the great portions of the series is not only that, but also the variety that we've had cars week to week. The fact that we're now in, week 8, and we're now getting, week 7, week 8, and we're getting to the TCR cars. It goes to show how good the series has been thus far.
Yeah, week to week, improving, and fields are getting closer.
Indeed, they are.
Look at the lap times, and there's not much spread across the field, so
not at all. But that's what we like, and I hope we're saying that on lap 24, 25 tonight when the race finishes. 40 minutes.
That was my teammate going off there at the end of the back stretch. He doesn't like these front-wheel drive cars, but we'll see how we go in the race. Oh, watch out! Jeez, that was close.
That was a nice dodge
off.
right there. That was a nice dodge. That was very close.
There's the 7.
Jonathan Turner.
Oh dear. So, let's go through this, and we'll make some sense of this in a moment for you. Michael Hammond, 132.8, 132.9 for Shane Witt, 133.0 for Cohen Allard. So exactly what Nick was saying, all nice and tight at the top. 133.2 for Porter, 133.4 for Grant Gill, 133.5 for Craig Russell, 133.5 for Simon Ferris, 133.9 for Pete Dunham. That's the top 8. Not much separating that.
All I heard was 33, 33, 33. That's good.
Yep. So 92.93 seconds, the benchmark lap time around here. Hammer time. Are we looking to bounce back after a disappointing run last week, of course, at Alton Park? An event brought undone by penalty points more than anything else?
Yeah. As we got corrected during the week, it got undone by penalty points, not fuel strategy. So him and Sammy Bobby Katakazinas were just touching, bumping, and rubbing, and that sounded really wrong, but they were they accumulated all their points that way.
Indeed. So we've got a big night ahead for you, folks. We hope you can stay with us. Don't forget to stick around and join us post-race as well, because we're talking to all these drivers that feature in the winner's circle, not just for the production cars, but we'll also have a long extended chat with the stock car boys as well. 3 weeks to go in the championship, of course. Stock cars next week, Phillip Island, week after Bathurst. What's on the agenda for the production cars in the coming weeks, Nick?
I have no idea. You have to ask Nico, but unfortunately he's at home. He's doing a big cook-up for the weekend. So
yes. We're not without our fearless leader tonight.
We're wrapping up qualifying now, so it's just about to finish. Just to point out the penalty points, the guys have 20 penalty points before they get a drive-through, and there's 2 fast repairs for tonight.
Okay. So 20 before they get a drive-through and 2 fast repairs. Will they need the fast repairs? That remains to be seen. Smaller field. Is there potential for less carnage? Surely there's got to be less carnage on the opening lap than what we saw Monday night in the GT series.
Race car drivers, I think there's going to be more. That's just me.
All right, we'll wait and see. I look forward to seeing what might unfold here. It should be good fun. As you say, getting ready for the race to get underway, ladies and gentlemen. We're in the tail end of the qualifying session now. Minute 35 remaining. We're watching Cohen Allard try and get the thing back on the road. There's Joshua Thomas also battling with the limits. And Cohen Allard's just not having a great time there of it at the moment. And Josh Thomas is all over the ripple strips. And now the field's getting ready to get underway. So, yeah, as I was saying, I got a little bit tongue-tied and wrapped around. It's nice that for a series that has been so versatile, is what I was trying to say, a series that's been so versatile in terms of car selection and everything else, we're now going to what is the modern phenomenon. So we're giving a 2020 touch to the series, which is good to see. Of course, Mazda MX-5 was just kind of a hark back to the 90s and 2000s there last week. So now we get to do something a little bit more modern and a little bit more challenging, I'd have to say, judging by what we've seen thus far. A few of the, I mean, Carl Addard's just having fun at showing off for the sake of it, I'm sure, at the moment.
He's just pulling a handbrake.
But this will provide, I think, a little bit more of a challenge to these drivers than the Mazda MX-5 did last week.
100%. 100%. These things are still pretty quick for what they are, but I think the skill required to drive these is just that little bit different as bunched the field up again.
Yeah, but that's here's Xander Antonov as well. He's down the order at the moment. Actually, that's interesting. He was just on circuit there, but I wasn't seeing a qualifying time for him, so he might be burning from the stern with you, Nick, on that note. Will be interesting to see how this unfolds. 21 cars on our survey here. Whether all 21 take the start, we'll find out in a few moments. Looking forward to the stock car portion of the evening coming up from Watkins Glen, New York. That's a little bit later on for you as the field gets set on the main straight here. All Audis, so fair game. It's now a battle of wits. It's a battle of who, actually, pardon the pun there, because Shane's starting second, but it's a battle of who's the best driver in these conditions. And what we've seen so far, Nick, is versatility has been the key to success. Your ability to adapt from car to car, week to week, track to track, has been the difference between making it and breaking it. Xander Antonov capitalised last week on penalty points for Michael Hammond, but otherwise it should have been Hammond's night. And he's had a couple of occasions through the season where, through not necessarily any fault of his own, penalties different story, but obviously fuel strategy and a few other things, he's come up short because he has been the formidable bloke.
Yeah, so it's going to be an interesting night.
All right. Would you like to run through the grid or shall I?
I think you're going to have to because I don't think there's much time now.
Is it a standing start tonight for you guys?
It looks like it.
All right. Well, we won't have any time at all to run through the grid. Michael Hammond and Shane with the front row, Cohen Addard and Michael Porter the second row, Grant Gill and Craig Russell the third row, Simon Ferris and Pete Dunham the fourth row, Jonathan Turner and Anthony Visma the fifth row, Josh Thomas and William Pym the sixth row, then Josh Millard and Luke Keamy the seventh. Nick's back there on the eighth row. There's a couple of others lurking in behind. We'll find out who takes the green flag in a few moments. Standing start. This will be fun if that is the case. 40 minutes. The journey here. We believe that'll be 24, 25 laps. Green flag. Racing now. Hammond got a great jump. So too did Addard. Addard got the better of Witt down the run of the turn one. They head down the hill for the first time. There's a little trouble behind. But other than that, everyone's been able to continue on to turn two. I'll find out who. I think it was Simon Ferris that had a little bit of an off-track excursion there through the gravel trap at turn one. So he's lost a few spots in all of that, but Hammond continues at the front. He'll be under pressure from Addard and Witt. Witt lost one spot there at the start, but that top three, and let's be honest, it's been a battle between Hammond and Witt throughout the course of the season. That continues here tonight, and they've got Addard thrown in for good measure as they head down the hill for the first time at Brandt Hatch. Sensational scenes here. Another sunset race. It worked a treat last week, didn't it? We're racing at sunset again this week. And in something that's very familiar to the British summer. Nick, and they're heading into the British summer. I'm sporting a jumper for the first time during the series tonight as well. Tell us about the start from your perspective, mate.
It was a bit of craziness there. There was cars off at turn one. I didn't get too good a start, but there was a couple of guys that jumped as well. And we'll see how that pans out for them. I think I'm in the top 12 or so cars, but we'll see how we cross the line this time through.
Indeed. Just to fill you in, for those of you joining us from home, 3.7 kilometres, 9 turns, the Brandt Hatch circuit. Looks simple on paper as anything but, with the undulation and the technical challenges added to it for good measure. One lap in the books here. You ride on board with the 89. That's Xander Antonov, of course. He's sitting there in 7th place at the moment, sideways, in fact, going through turn 2. And that will put him under some sort of pressure from Grant Gill there on the outside as they head through the Indy course section of the circuit, now out onto the Grand Prix extension. And of course, I was reading through the week, it's quite interesting, isn't it? Noise restrictions seem to follow me wherever we go, Nick, because noise restrictions is one of the reasons why the Grand Prix circuit is so irregularly used at Brands Hatch. They save it for the bigger meetings like the BTCC or the British Superbikes, but for club meetings, it's that Indy course that gets so much of the action. But bloody noise restrictions, they're everywhere, aren't they?
Yeah, well, I guess the city is encroaching on these circuits, so it makes it a lot harder. I guess, unfortunately, people who buy houses thinking that, oh, they're in a nice spot, but you got to remember there is a race circuit nearby.
Hey Nick, we'll jump on board with you now because I see you're just behind Xander and you're having quite a good little battle there, so we'll jump on board.
Yeah, he got hit into turn 2 and I swooped up about 3 positions to catch him up and challenge him into 3. So I'm just going to follow him. He seems to have the afterburners on.
That's a really good start, actually, from Nick to be up into 8th already from the back of the field. There were some late entries to this race, of course. Nick burns from the stern all the time, but it looks as though, of course, Xander has joined in. I see Chris Polly's in the field as well. And although it says a lap down already, which isn't a good start. And there's also one other. So we went from 14 to 18. 14 qualify, 18 start. It looks as though the other one was Laser Dave Farrelly, actually, the other late entry and all of that. So good to have all them on board on a Friday night. Good to have you on board as well, wherever you're watching around Australia, around the world, Facebook Live, Doadrift Esports and Twitch as well. We're right on board with our good mate Nick. Through the back section of the circuit. He's got a car between himself and Xander Antonieff right now. Just trying to pick up who that might be. Is it Jonathan Turner or Pete Dunham?
Pete Dunham.
That's Pete Dunham. So Xander's got by on Pete up into 6th spot there. Xander now sits 6th, Pete 7th, and Nick 8th at the moment. You've got to be happy with that. Taking advantage, making the most of the foul play around you at the start there, mate, to drive through and be at the end of 3 laps, not even that. Into position number 8 on the racetrack.
Yeah, I just picked up another one. Michael Porter went off the track then, and yeah, came back on right on the apex, so that was a bit hairy. Yeah, I think I'm up to 7th now, so I'm pretty happy with that.
Well, we'll have to keep an eye on incident points throughout the course of this race as well, folks. I don't have that information in front of me, but it'll be interesting to see if anyone falls victim to it the way they did last week at Alton Park. At the front of the field, half a second separates Hammond and Attard. You're following them now. Towards the outfield section of the circuit, of course, the back section, the Grand Prix configuration. Here at Brands Hatch, Attard second with 3rd. 1.2 seconds separates the top 3 here. 1 compulsory pit stop coming up at some point during this race. Fuel burn during practice and qualifying, Nick, was about 1.5, 1.6 litres per lap from memory.
Correct.
So keep an eye on that. And there should be, I dare say, a clampdown situation at some point during this 40 minutes as well to bunch the field back up and make things interesting again. Not that we need that at the moment. It's interesting enough as it is. Plenty of action out there on the racetrack. Nick just copping a touch there through the back section of the circuit as well on the second monitor that I'm watching. So you're right in the thick of a battle there, mate. You've got cars left, right and centre.
Yeah, I thought I was cleanly by, but he turned in. So we'll see how we go.
Now, across the line we go again. Hammond and Attard, 0.2 of a second. They've gapped Witt. Witt's 1.7 in arrears at the moment. Now, Attard, will he play patiently and follow Hammond and work together to build a buffer? That appears to be what he's doing at the moment. Or does he sense the chance to take the race lead here at some point? We'll find out, I'm sure. Magnificent sight. Aerial view of Brands Hatch as we head around towards, I'm going to call it turn 5. 6, 7, 8, 9. Yep. They're not like the Americans or the Australians and count every little kink in the racetrack as a corner. If they did, there'd be a lot more than 9, let me tell you. And, they head down the hill one more time. So just quickly updating you on how things stand here. 0.2 of a second separates Hammond and Haddad. Witt is 1.7 in arrears. Russell's a further 2 seconds away from Witt. Then that long gap, 6 seconds almost, back to Antonov, Dunham, O'Pop and Turner, who you're following now, of course. You've got that battle on your screen there, ladies and gentlemen. Porter's in the thick of it. Xander Antonov's going to be one to watch. Once the field bunches up, I think, like what we saw last week, Nick, he's going to be a threat in the back end of this race. Once we bunch that field back up midway through this race and the clamp down is thrown, Xander may well be a threat here because he's driven through as well as you, just a little bit better. He's just had a little bit better run of luck. And he's sitting up there, got 10 seconds between himself and Craig Russell. He's in the top 5. He's now got the chance to try and chase Russell. I'm interested to see over the next few laps whether that gap builds or closes.
Sorry, just making a pass.
That's all right. And a little bit of contact behind you there, actually, between, I think it was Gill and Porter and Turner in there for good measure. So you're battling at Pete, I'd say, are you, Nick?
Yeah, just got around him then, so haven't got much of a lead on him. That Xander's pulled 4.4 on me already.
Yeah. It's going to be hard to catch his Xander, there's no doubt about that. As I say, he's got the foot down, he's got the eyes forward. Flag Marshal's loving every bit of this as well, having a lovely chit-chat. So, trackside here in England. Reminder, of course, a moment there, spinner. And I'm just trying to pick up, I think it's Porter. That's been turned around. I was looking at the leaderboard here, and then I turn around, and there's a car backwards in the sand. Oh dear. That's not ideal. But thankfully, the good thing about Brands Hatch, and actually if we can get Rob to go back to our leader for the moment, there's something pretty exciting happening at the front here, ladies and gentlemen. Cohen Haddad has the lead. He got by on Michael Hammer Time Hammond, and now it's 0.2 in the other way, in the other direction, in favour of Haddad instead of Hammond. 0.28 the margin first to second. Witt is third. Russell, Antonov the top 5. Antonov not really closing on Russell at the moment. Fairly status quo there right now. And Nick is the next best in 6th, of course. Just trying to confirm who was caught up in that incident there earlier, whether it was Porter or whether it was someone else over the back section of the circuit. I just didn't catch a number on that. My apologies. But the good news is, as I was about to say before we had a look at the lead change here, Nick, the great thing about Brands Hatch compared to other circuits that we race on, rather than at, because it's virtual, is a lot of runoff area here.
Yeah, there's lots of runoff area, lots of places to recover. Sorry.
You're right.
And yeah, it makes for good racing. So if someone does get ping-ponged between the walls, they are, or at least onto one wall, they won't bounce fully back onto the circuit because the walls are that far away.
So, Cohen Haddad leads 0.4 of a second to Hammond. They're heading through turn 2 right now. You can see it on your screen there. We had the aerial shot a moment ago. The run up out of turn 2 and 3 and now to 4. And now it's Hammond's turn to decide whether he has a crack at getting back by Haddad or whether he decides to just follow the leader for a little bit. They're building a gap on Witt. There's no doubt about that. Witt's now 2.8 seconds away. And Tonif has closed the gap between himself and Russell from 5.9 to 5.7, but that's not enough to do anything at this point in time, because by the time he catches up, the race will have been well and truly finished on those numbers. Is it 0.2 of a lap? 5 seconds, that's 25 laps. We haven't got 25 laps here left in the motor race. As it stands, as the cars went by the line last time round, 11 minutes had been logged on the clock. We're back watching this battle between Grant Gill, Simon Ferris and Josh Thomas right now. Grant Gill at the front, Josh Thomas behind, Simon Ferris in the middle, the green and black car you see there. And should point out as well, some really nice liveries on these TCR cars tonight. Everyone's done a good job of holding the standards of livery design up and to a credible, commendable point. There seems to be more work being done, and I'll get to this later when we talk to Mr. Lavis as well. There seems to be more work being done on the liveries that these cars are sporting in this series than there is actual preparation time on the circuit for some reason. Now, you're still in the thick of battle there, Nick. Of course, you've got a little bit of a buffer now between yourself and Pete, but Xander's the next target. However, the target is 4.7 seconds away.
Yeah.
And he's
a couple seconds on Pete, but
yeah,
Xander's gone like a rat up a drain pipe, so
yeah.
We'll see what happens at the pit stops or the safety car, whichever one comes first. I've got about 10 laps left in this tank, so...
Mate, I was going to say, we love TCR as a concept, but to see it as a single-make race is quite interesting as well. Just adds a whole new element to it, the fact that you guys are all in Audis tonight.
Yeah, nice car.
Absolutely. No complaints here. Hey, wide goes Grant Gill. You might have just seen it at the top of your screen there. In fact, we've gone back to the leaders. But behind them, there's that cracking battle between Ferris, Gill and Thomas continuing. And it was, in fact, Turner, Ferris and Gill, I should say. And it was Gill that ran wide and lost a little bit of time to them there a moment ago. Back with Michael Hammond on board now. 0.264 of a second, the margin first to second. He tried the outside at turn 2. That's not going to work. And it's still Haddad holding the lead at this point in time. 0.264 of a second. Woods is third. Russell fourth, then Tonif in fifth, then O'Pop, then Dunham, then Turner, then Ferris, then Gill. That takes you through to 10th. 18 starters we had tonight. Chris Polly the first to drop off completely, 7 laps down. Anthony Visma is 2 laps down at this point in time. And now Hammond's having a crack. Hammond's turned it into the wall. Big contact between Hammond and Haddad, and bang! Haddad's got a tremendous amount of damage on the front of that TCR Audi. Big moment. You were riding right there for it. You saw the moment happen. Big one between Haddad and Hammond on the straight. Oh, I'd love to see a replay of that. Jeez, what a moment. And look at the damage on Haddad's car.
Zach, I was about to say that they were so close that when I went to the nose camera, the camera was inside Haddad's car. Yeah. So that's how close they were racing just then.
Oh, mate, that was incredibly close. Too close in the end. And Haddad, where's the brunt of that? Hammond will take the lead. Witt will go to second. And Haddad will go to pit lane. Wow.
I think he'll do his stuff now and get it done. Get the fast there.
He'll have to, no doubt about that. And here's the thing, Nick. The discussion post-race is going to be very interesting.
Yeah, I'm glad I'm not a steward.
Oh, dear. So what happens there, obviously, with Paul out for the night? Will he have a look at all this after the fact, or what goes on?
Yeah, it'll be after the fact.
Now, we've got a yellow. We've got the yellow flag waving, so the safety car's going to come out onto the circuit here, folks. Gives us a little bit of a chance to regroup. The Castrol entry of Turner visiting the gravel trap on the entrance to turn 2. And the rest of the field making its way around now. They'll form up behind the safety car. Chris Polly has thrown the caution flag with the message that come up on my little screen there. So that tells us who's in control of proceedings.
Pit lane is closed.
That doesn't do you any justice, does it?
That's all right. We'll see how we go. I just do what the leader does. Worked for me last night in the F3, so Just do what the leader does. Pit lane is closed. It's always closed when you throw a manual safety car in iRacing, because it takes on the the NASCAR or IndyCar rules. Bunch the field up, then pit.
So on the left-hand side of your screen there, folks, you can see the leaderboard. Let's run through it. Michael Hammond, of course, on top at the moment. Shane Witt second. 2.2 the margin. That margin is about to evaporate. Craig Russell and Xander Antonov, Nico Pop, then Pete Dunham. Then you go back to Simon Ferris, Jonathan Turner, Grant Gill, Josh Thomas and Josh Millard. And that takes you through to 11th. Cohen Addard's rejoined in 12th with that fast repair attended to. And this is so disappointing for him because that was shaping up to be an almighty race.
Might still work in his favour.
And
he's already done his pit stop and the safety car's come out.
Could do. Actually, that's a fair point. But I'll be interested to see exactly what happened there because, as Rob said, he went for the onboard shot and, you know, the one car was inside the other. So that's how close they were. But, yeah. It'll be interesting to see how the stewards view all of that. That's all I'm going to say. Clearly fighting for the same piece of real estate. And you saw Hammond going down the inside. There was no doubt about that. He had the run out of turn 4 on the run down to turn 5. And whether Addard just left it too late to defend the line and it'll be deemed as a racing accident. Again, that remains to be seen and the stewards can have fun looking at all of that. I'm glad I don't envy them. I'm glad I'm not one of them at this point in time. So...
First. It was the first time I've actually had to push real hard to catch a safety car, which I think is faster than the actual race cars. So, anyway, that Porsche up the front.
I was going to say, the safety car seems to be in a bit of a rush today.
I've made it a truck for the NASCAR so it won't be out of their reach.
Anthony Visma was waved around the safety car, just for those of you playing along at home. And the safety car comes down towards the last corner this time round. Now, this will be interesting because... when the pit lane is open, we should see a flurry of pit stops here. There goes Hammond in. There goes Witt, Russell, everyone in. Nick as well. Pit lane just got very, very busy here. And again, I'm interested to see. It looks like Cohen Addard will come around. Maybe not. I'm waiting to see when the start-finish line, the running order refreshes. Yes, Josh Millard and Cohen Addard, actually. So Millard's gone through as well. Witt, Hammond, they'll all come back through. There's the race off pit road, ladies and gentlemen. It's just got very, very busy at Brands Hatch, hasn't it? We'll wait and see how the order reforms in all of this. Tell us about the pit stop, Nick, from your perspective.
I lost a heap of positions. I put enough fuel in to complete the race. Maybe too much, who knows? But I only took front tyres because these things just scrub them out real quick, smart. So,
well, two things.
Go on.
I was going to say, A, better to have too much than not enough, as you've learnt previously. And two, the other thing I will say is when you look at your driver ability, you race better chasing. So the fact that you've lost a bit of ground won't necessarily hurt you in the long run because what we've seen already is you can overtake cars.
Oh, thank you. We'll see how we go. If the new tyre advantage works out, so we'll see how we go. I'm behind Joshua Thomas and Laser Dave, and those two jump me because Xander's in front of them. So
okay,
I got to let Ismar through. Ismar's getting the wave around.
Is that the second time or?
Yeah, on our timing screen he's a lap down, so I think that might be the second. He might have pitted.
Yep.
I think I've taken on too much fuel. Damn. Oh well.
You'll be right. You'll be right. You might even get
Sorry, like you said.
I was going to say you might get a second safety car yet. Safety cars breed safety cars, and from what we've already seen, you can't be guaranteed that it won't happen on a main straight. Of course, that was the back straight at Brands Hatch. Down the Hawthorne Hill, of course, where the incident unfolded between Michael Hammond and Cohen Haddad. However, as Nick said, the fast repair has really helped Cohen Haddad out here, because not only did he get the safety car, he then got the free passes essentially across past the rest of the field when the safety car was declared. Sorry, not when the safety car was deployed, but when the pit lane was open and everyone come in for their compulsory stops. So he's now leading. Oh, he's now second behind the safety car with Josh Millard, the effective race leader. So we've got one guy that I didn't expect to see at the pointy end, with one guy that we did expect to see at the pointy end, sitting there 1 and 2, getting ready to get back underway. And Michael Hammond has rejoined all of this in 14th.
Oh wow!
So he'll be driving through from the rear. So the order now that it's been corrected on your screen there, folks: Millard, Attard, Witt, Dunham, Russell, Ferris, Antonov, Farrelly, Thomas, and I popped the top 10. So Nick's lost, what, four, five spots and all of that. Jonathan Turner, Grant Gill, Michael Porter, William Pym, Michael Hammond. Actually, Hammond's now dropping down to 16th on my leaderboard.
Yeah, it looks like the order's getting sorted out because
yeah,
looks like Craig Russell has been dropped to the back of the line. Made a spot, yes.
So Luke Keamy has moved up into position number 15, Hammond into 16th, and then Anthony Visma a lap down. So that's the running order. As we get set for a restart, I think that might have been lights out on the safety car that we just saw
correct.
there.
1 to green.
We are getting set for a restart here. Safety car will pull off, the race will be back on. And it'll be Josh Millard and Cohen Haddad leading the field to green. Watch for Hammond coming through. Watch for Nick coming through. Watch for Xander Antonov sitting there in 7th spot as well. All these guys have got good pace.
All right, they're going another lap under safety car. It looks like they're going to sort out the order.
Lap. Okay. Ooh. Car in the wall, actually, back there. Coming out of, I think it was turn 6. There's a car hitting the wall. So, not ideal. Actually, make that, yeah, it's turn 6. So, they'll sort the order out. We'll go one more behind the green. That might push us to a time certain factor as well, which is not ideal, but anyway.
It's feeling a little bit like an XL Cup clampdown at this rate.
This is very true, Rob. This is very true.
Hello to all of our XL Cup drivers and fans out there as well. You'll see there's an XL Cup car skinned on here as well.
There's a couple in here.
Yep.
I was going to say we love our XL Cup, don't we?
We do.
Some of the best racing I've commentated in 4 years in Queensland, or let's call it 3 actually, because the 4th hasn't really properly got underway.
And we've got a few of the drivers that have been racing with. We've got Xander Antonov tonight. We've had Darren Whittington. A few of the guys from the Queensland XL Cup.
We've had some tremendous XL Cup racing, but Formula V is also a standout. HQ Holden's even throw up some good racing. So as you're seeing tonight with TCR, there's something about one make racing that really gets everyone up out of their seat, and I particularly cannot wait to get back trackside. I mentioned it. I was recording my Saturday morning radio program for West Bremer Radio this afternoon, and I said in that today, being tomorrow, we should have been bringing you some action from last weekend's scheduled meeting at QR. Of course, that didn't happen because of COVID. So we wait somewhat impatiently now for Grassroots Motorsport to resume. But thank goodness we've got sim racing to keep us sane in the meantime. And of course, the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club proudly presented to you on a Friday night by Doadrift Esports, and of course the great people at Central Coast Subaru and LJ Hooker Gaindale. We couldn't do it without them. And of course the great people at All Certs that present the production car series for you here. Looking forward to Stock Car a little bit later on. We'll jump in the plane, head across the Atlantic, go to Watkins Glen, bring all of that to you as we get set for a restart here. Safety car will peel off this time by, and then we will go green.
I think they've sorted out the order.
Indeed. So Anthony Visma will be at the end of the line as a lap down. That'll allow us to get back underway here. Expect maybe some fireworks here, folks. I'm not entirely sure. About 13 and a half minutes left on the clock here at Brands Hatch. Safety car off, race back on. Let's go. Millard, Adard, Witt, Dunham, Ferris, Antonov, Farrelly, Thomas and Nick lead us back to the line. They're the top 9. Jonathan Turner in 10th. Let's wait and see who might make the first move. Lights ablaze. Artificial light taking over from the ambient, from the natural light there at the moment, because the twilight, whilst it does drag on a fair bit in England, it is starting to get very late over their track time at Brands Hatches. We broadcast this is 7 minutes to 9. That's the time that I'm seeing on the iRacing platform. So the race was set originally on those numbers for about an 8:25 start, Brands Hatch time. And of course, we know the time difference is a little bit different. England's 9 hours behind us, not an hour in front. That's the 12. Or the 21, I should say, in 12th at the time of the incident. Michael Porter's being turned around again, this time at turn 4. Heading down towards the back section of the circuit, and he's had a shocker of a night as Michael Porter. He's now at the back of the line. Big one! You may have seen it, you may not have, folks. There was a car spearing off down the hill there. I don't think you saw it on your screen, but there was a car, it was Anthony Bisma, ending up in the wall. He's now reset to the pit lane. Oh my goodness me. We said safety cars breed safety cars, and already two men have run into trouble off the restart here. It's only 1 lap long. Now, the leaders will be coming back around across the start-finish strike this time by. There they are on your screen. Millard and Adard Worthy, the front two here. It's Adard that's taken the lead. Witts jumped up into second spot. Millard has been dropped down the order, plummeted down the order, in fact, to 9th in all of that. Josh Millard has lost out completely off this restart, and Cohen Adard holds the lead. Shane Witt, Pete Dunham, Xander Antonov, then Simon Ferris. Nick's jumped up into 6th spot. Have a look at this. Laser Dave Farrell in behind him, then Josh Thomas, Josh Millard, and then Hammonds got up back into 10th now. Ooh. There's action aplenty out there at the moment. It's hard to know where to look. I think I'm going to take it. I'm going to hazard a guess that we're on board with Xander Antonov here at the moment. Heading down the hill.
We're on board with Simon Ferris, 315.
Simon Ferris. Thank you, mate. So Xander's the one in front. I saw number 12 for some reason, so that's Pete just in front of Xander. Oh, Xander's actually got by Pete during this lap. The leaderboard only updates every lap, not every sector, like other sports, of course. So we were on board with Ferris there, who's actually been a big improver in all of this. He's moved up to 5th. Dunham 3rd, or 4th now. Xander Antonov now in the top 3 for the 2nd week in a row. He, of course, won last week. He's sitting there nicely in 3rd place at this point in time. Across the line, Adard, Witt, Dunham, or Antonov now, I should say. There's that correction on my screen right there, right now, and on yours as well at home around Australia. 3.4 the margin between Adard and Antonov, and Antonov is charging here. Watch for Xander in the closing stages of this race. Inside the last 10 minutes we go. Can't tell you exactly where we're up to with regards to lap times here, folks, but in terms of lap number, I should say, but in terms of race time, we are beyond the 30-minute mark.
Done 18.
18. So what was the original set number?
It's just 40 minutes, but I predicted to around about the 24 lap mark.
24. Okay. So going on, yeah, actually 24 is looking good. May get to 25. Wait and see. That safety car going a lot longer might actually deprive us, but we'll wait and see as this plays out. So 9 minutes to go. Wherever you're watching us around Australia. Friday night motorsport for you. Off-track excursion there. You're riding with the Audi. The plain black Audi. How good's that? Some of these cars you can't really tell distinctly or distinctively at times, but when it's plain black, it's easy to spot. Round onto the main straight. So another lap in the books here, folks. The Monster Energy car of Pete Dunham sitting there in 4th spot. Simon Ferris in behind him. That's the battle we've now picked up for you. Friday Night Motorsport for you across Doadrift Esports, Twitch and Facebook. And of course, it'll be available via YouTube in the coming days as well.
Yes, just on that, Zach, if
Yes,
people
mate?
have noticed, if anyone's noticed that a few of the YouTube videos haven't caught up yet, I will have them uploaded soon. I actually had an issue where Twitch was flagging me for the music saying that it was copyrighted, but I actually have the rights to it, so...
Okay.
Due to COVID, they take a very long time to respond, but they're very quick to action it in the first place, if you know what I mean.
Sounds about right.
So once they take that off and they allow me to do it, I'll be able to download it with sound and upload it on YouTube in HD. So I'll get
Beautiful,
those across.
Simon's in front of Pete now.
We look forward to seeing that very shortly. Well picked up, Nick, while Rob was explaining that. Have a look at this. Great battle here between Pete Dunham and Simon Ferris, side by side on the run out of turn 9. Ferris on the inside, Dunham on the outside. Dunham wins the battle for the moment. Across the line. Nick's all over these two like a rush at the moment, looking for a way through. I was going to say, don't sit behind them, because if they run into trouble, you're going to go ploughing straight into them, Nick. Through turn 1. Ferris gets the position now. Dunham hung out to dry. Nick squeezing up on the inside. Into P number 5 for our good mate Nick. Pete holding 4th. Simon holding 4th. Pete's been relegated back to 6th, and they're all using the AstroTurf and the grass on the exit of turn 3. What about this fight?
Mikey Hammond's catching, so...
Yeah, he is too. Yes. Good point. Very good point. Closing in. Hammond's next target is, in fact, Pete Dunham. And that is the battle for position number 6 now. Further back. Porter's trying to find his way back through the field as well here. Oh, how good's this racing at Brands Hatch been? In fact, what we should ask the drivers at the end of the 10 weeks, Nick, is what their favourite car and track was, and come back for week 11 and combine the pair. Because I don't necessarily think the favourite car and favourite track will align. I think it'll be 2 different ones.
As long as we're in an MX-5, I'm happy.
Okay, well, we know who's got the vote there. Oh, very nice. Now, I'm just having a look. Josh Miller.
On the grass.
Oh, Hammond's on the grass. Dunham's on the grass. Dunham's hung out way out to dry, but he gets back on the racetrack, and Hammond has moved up into 6th position in all of that. So Hammond will now chase Nick and also Simon Ferris, and Nick's down the inside into P4 now. Hammond's there in 5th. There's that battle just ahead of Hammond that you can see there, just popping out of your screen. Hammond's on a charge. Top 5 within reach for him. Nick's in 4th. Top 3 within reach for him, depending upon what happens up the front. If one of those top 3 come unstuck, Nick's on the podium. It's 5 seconds, 4.5 in fact, from Xander to Nick at this point in time, and Ferris is fighting back there on the outside down the hill. Down to turn 5. Nick's got the inside line, gets it covered for the moment. But Simon's giving him one hell of a hurry up in the closing stages here at Brands Hatch. 34 minutes 38 was the race time last time by the line, so we're going to be inside the last 4 minutes of the motor race, so 3 laps to go. Right, next time by the line, unless we get a caution, in which case it may be flagged sooner. This is tremendous racing on a Friday night. We hope you're enjoying it wherever you're watching around Australia. Hammond in the grass on the exit of 8. And that might just be enough for the battle between Nick and Simon here that you see on your screen to be unaffected by Hammond's brilliance. 3 laps to go.
Every time
Hammond's now lost out the Dunham.
Every time I looked in the mirror, Mikey was in the dirt, so
Oh no, turn 1! Just behind the battle that we're following there. It's contact between Pete Dunham and Michael Hammond, and Pete Dunham was in the gravel trap. Sorry, Nick, I had to cut you off there. Go on, mate. Go on.
No, just every time I caught a glimpse in the mirrors, I saw Michael Hammond 4-wheeling in the dirt. So He's probably pushing a little too hard. Anyway, he knows though.
I was going to say that it is characteristic for Hammond. There's no doubt about that. But it's also the trait of a racing driver when they're trying to redeem themselves for lost time, isn't it? It just seems the natural thing to do. You lose a little bit of your mindset and your concentration, and you go all out trying to claw it back, and in the end, you often do more damage than good.
Yeah. It's just a pitfall that you fall into. Your mindset's in the wrong spot. You just want to get back, and you end up getting messier and sliding and losing time.
I was going to say, unless the top three, mate, end up coming unstuck, I think you're going to be settling for fourth tonight because you're 4.8 away from Xander, and we're about to come to the line for 2 laps to go this time around. It's been great to have your company wherever you've been watching us all around Australia. Stick around because the doubleheader continues very shortly. We head to Watkins Glen for NASCAR, or stock cars in this case, I should say, with the Xfinity cars on track there. Looking forward to that immensely, but what a performance it's been from Cohen Attard to come back from that crash to lead this by 1.7 with 2 laps to go. Have a look at this, though. The battle for fourth, not over yet. Not over yet. Nick's holding on at the moment. But he's got a rear view mirror full of Simon Ferris as they head to turn 4 one more time. Are you feeling the pressure, Nick, or not?
Just a little. I'm fully clothed for a winter's day in Brisbane, yet I've got the fan on because I'm feeling the heat.
Yeah, exactly right. 100%. As I say, I brought the jumper out, A, because it's a little bit cold in Ipswich tonight, but B, because it's Brands Hatch and it's cold at any time of the year. But yeah, it's starting to warm up and spice up. There's no doubt about that. Hey, the last light board should be in there this time round. By my calculations for Cohen Attard, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a tremendous performance from him here on a Friday night. But let's stick with this battle because this has just been awesome, simply awesome stuff. Look at how nice it actually. Here's a message to Queensland as well. Right now, I'm going to get political for a moment. Have a look at how nice Brands Hatch looks at 9 o'clock at night. Right? Queensland will never have that, unfortunately. We don't even get daylight at 7 o'clock in the evening. And we refuse to extend it to 8 o'clock because we don't take on daylight saving. But have a look at how nice that is at 9 o'clock. The iRacing platform capturing it beautifully at Brands Hatch. Sorry, I'll get away from the politics, back to the sport. Last lap of the motor race, you just picked up Michael Hammond there. Craig Russell's in behind him and Laser Dave Farrelly following. Michael Hammond will redeem himself with 6, but he'll be disappointed with that. He'll salvage 6th in the end. There's still time to throw that away. I don't want to put the mocker on him, but he's 2 seconds clear of Craig Russell and Dave.
I'm trying to work my way back through, Zach, but there's just a battle every couple of cars. There's a battle. It's
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. But if you can pick up Cohen Attard for us, mate, he's number 301. He's about to come to the checkered flag this time around, I do believe. It was 40 seconds left on the clock last time by the line. So this time round should be the checkered flag, but have a look at it. It's only 0.9 of a second between Cohen Attard and Shane Witt. Witt is charging home, but I think he's going to fall just short as they head down towards the last corner. And Cohen Attard, despite slamming the wall, uses the fast repair to fast track a win on a Friday night in the production cars for all certs here. TCR style at Brands Hatch and Cohen Attard, the 3rd different winner in as many weeks.
Look who's third. Yes!
What about that? Xander Antonoff was going to be 3rd, but he's come unstuck on the last lap. I don't know what's happened there, and Nick has come through to salvage the podium. How about that? Simon Ferris, Michael Hammond, Craig Russell, then Dave Farrelly. Xander's come home in 8th. So Xander's had a horrible, atrocious last lap here. And and everyone just crashing into the wall now. Making the most of the opportunity to wreck the car before sending it back to the lane.
He got loose through Dingledale, and that was the end of that. He went into the wall and bounced back out. I was trying not to hit him and trying to keep Simon behind me as well. So I got a little excited in the last turn and nearly gave away 3rd. So I'm happy to finish that.
I was going to say it wouldn't have been easy, but that was the other thing as well. You can see the results on your screen there, folks, as part of Rob's new tremendous graphic package that's coming up here on a Friday night for the Gentlemen's Racing Club and all certs. And, of course, also the great people at Central Coast Subaru and LJ Hooker Gaindar. Calnada gets the job done from Shane Witt. Nick, of course, salvaging a podium in the end at the expense of Xander and Tony. And that's what I said. All it would take was one mistake from one of those top three to give you a podium, mate. That's what's happened. Unfortunately, it was at Xander's expense. But that's racing. You've got to perform for all 40 minutes, and you certainly did that. 40 minutes and 53 seconds winning race time. Calnada, the winner, 0.29 of a second in the end. Shane Witt came home with a wet sail. There's no doubt about that. Simon Ferris was fourth. Michael Hemmond fifth. Craig Russell, Laser Dave Farrelly, Xander Entone, Pete Dunham, Jonathan Turner, and Michael Porter made up the top 11. So Porter got back to 11th after the wretched night he had. He had more hits than Elvis tonight. There's no doubt about that. Got turned around a couple of times, a couple of driving mistakes as well. But that was fantastic stuff. Josh Thomas 12th, Grant Gill, Luke Keamy, and Josh Miller, the top 15. And Miller was second off that restart. He had more trouble than anything as well in the closing stages there. William Pym was 8 laps down. Anthony Visma, 10 laps down. And Chris Polly, 23 laps down in the end there. I think we got to 25 laps in the end, did we, Nick?
Completed 24 laps. There you go.
24. Bingo's his name. If that safety car hadn't have gone around one more time, I reckon we would have got to 25. But the order needed to be sorted out.
Rob, if you could find that last lap of Xander Antoneef, he got well loose into Dingle Dell there, and then that was into that. So, if you wouldn't mind, I'll see if there's anybody around to do an interview.
I would really like to see the incident between Hammond and Naddard again, actually. I'd really like a second look at that. Here's Antoneef right now on the last laps. Is this the last lap, Rob?
I'm just looking for it at the moment. We're not on that screen. You can see through it though. I'm just looking.
Okay, no worries. All right, we'll wait and see. So, Calnada, well done. Stick around, folks. That was only like one of the double header, of course. We've got stock car racing from Watkins Glen coming up for you very shortly, and that's going to be absolutely fantastic. And what a race it has been. Doadrift Esports, of course, continues on Monday night when we come back for the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club and all the action from the GT Series, the Daytona Beach International Speedway, the road course in Florida. That is going to be an absolute rip slaughter on the back of all the great racing we've seen, I should admit, so far throughout that series. And all the great racing we've seen at Daytona in the sim world over the last couple of weeks. We had a cracking stock car race there a couple of weeks ago, and now the GTs get their turn as well. Carl Nuttard's in the chat room, and we have to say, mate, congratulations. That was an interesting 40 minutes.
Yeah, that was very, very impressive. Got away with it there. On about the Michael incident, that would have been a nice little showdown, the three of us, if it came to the end.
Well, I was going to say, can you tell us exactly what happened there? Because we caught it, but we couldn't make sense of it. You and Mick coming to blows on the run down the hill there.
I got the move, I think, a couple laps down, pretty much the same. We're doing the same sort of move there. And then he was trying to get back at me. I was trying to squeeze him out, but I thought maybe I was leaving him room, but yeah, maybe not enough. And then News obviously looked at it, and he was in the wrong by the sounds.
Well, I can't comment. No, I was going to say, this is commentary, not the steward's room. I can't comment on that.
When we brought the camera across to you, you guys were so close that the nose camera was actually inside the front car. That's how close the racing was. Fantastic.
Yeah, that's what it felt like. Yeah, all right. That sounds a bit more like it.
I was going to say, Colin, just a stroke of luck for you, though, that you were able to get the thing back to the lane, launch the quick repair, get it back out on the circuit, and the safety car gets deployed, and everyone else has to come in and do their pit stop. Couldn't have asked for a better stroke of luck, could you?
probably sounds spot on there. Just timing, safety,
Yeah.
and thank goodness for fast repairs.
Indeed. What'd you make of, apart from the incident with Mick and obviously the fast repair, what'd you make of the race, mate? Obviously, TCRs are a great little kart, Brands Hatch is a great circuit, but everyone has a different story over the last 40 minutes. What'd you make of the race tonight?
Very fun, entertaining. Actually, not too much carnage by the sound. And Gentlemen's Club are just put on a real good series. They've been doing a real good job.
Indeed, they are. Just to give us a perspective, what was the in-race chat like with your fellow drivers? Because when we hear GT racing, it usually gets pretty heated.
It wasn't too bad, to be honest. Yeah, usually there's a lot of owning going on, you know, bit of this, bit of that, back and forth. But yeah, it was all right.
I could imagine, mate. Congratulations, Nick. Do you want to throw anything in here for good measure?
No, you did a bloody fantastic job. After the crash, and I heard Zach going off in my ears, I could see you recovering through the top corner at the end of the back stretch. And I'm like, oh, okay, another spot. But you had enough speed to get into the pits before me. I'm like, damn, all right. And then as we come off the Indy circuit to go back on the Grand Prix circuit, the safety car went, oh, you've got to be kidding. And that worked out really well for you.
Actually, I had to look twice. I wasn't sure if I was going to get penalised because it was like
that's what I thought. Yeah,
coming to the pits.
It worked out really well, and just desserts, good driving. That was great.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it all, guys, and putting the stream on. It was good.
Yeah, no worries, mate.
See if anybody else wants to jump in.
That'd be great, Nick. I was going to say, our pleasure, Colin. We'll let you go, mate. Thanks very much for that, and well done again. 3 different whatever as many weeks. You must be looking forward to the next round.
Very looking forward, always.
Yeah, we'll have to chase out what the clue for next week is as well, because we know we'll be back next Friday night, but we just don't yet know the car track combination, but we'll find out more about that very shortly, mate. Thank you very much again.
Thanks, guys. You have a good night.
We will indeed. We're going to turn our attention to the stock cars for you very shortly, ladies and gentlemen. Nick's going to see if he can find anyone else to jump in and have a chat with us.
Everybody's either doing double duty or they don't want to chat. Mikey definitely doesn't want to chat. Chris Polly and
for some reason I'm not surprised by
that. Don't want to chat. So yeah, it looks like we'll just have to move on. I guess we'll go to the cars that are coming up next.
Which is a good idea. I'll jump out of the server because I've got to jump into the credit card and buy some iRacing money so that I can get Watkins Glen on the server. But we're looking forward to what should be a great race there, of course. Watkins Glen is coming up for you very shortly, folks. Stock car racing, third last round. It's the last of the North American legs as well because we've got Phillip Island and Mount Panorama coming up over the next fortnight. So looking forward to all of that. Mate, just quickly, Nick, we should say not only congrats, but we should just get some comments from you on the race from your perspective. Obviously, the in-race commentary is great, but what'd you make of it as a whole?
I thought it was actually a really good race. The lack of the massive field size actually made it, as you predicted, a lot nicer. And there wasn't that many crashes. There was people putting wheels off and then ending up in the boondocks, but for the most part, it was actually not too bad. So I enjoyed the hell out of that race. I knew I had the speed. I was about top 10 speed when I was doing my practice. So I always just check in practice to see how I'm going so I can relax during qualifying. But it wasn't too bad. Having to work to get past some of these guys, and some were blocking on the run into Druid's hairpin at turn 2 there, but it was good.
Indeed it was. All right, we'll take a break, folks. Stick around. As you can see, the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club, it should say on the screen there. Of course, gents with a passion for racing, be it simulated or otherwise. It's great to have you coming out a Friday night for all certs. Of course, LJ Hooker game down in Central Coast Subaru. We got plenty more great racing where that came from for you very shortly. Well done to Cohen Allard, the winner of the production car TCR Audi Spectacular from Brands Hatch. We're back with the stock cars from the Glen very short.
to ignore all the things we said. I wish I could change it. A little shaky, our emotions got the best of us lately. I got issues, yeah, you got them too. Our feelings too bruised to fight. We can say a lot in a little bit. Pressure in our minds made us know a fit. Got that kind of love and that ain't counterfeit. It's foolish and useless without your love. Without your love.
Alright everyone, welcome back to our stream. Tonight we've just finished up an exciting production car race with the TCRs. And we are about to head into our stock car race for the night. I'll hand you back over to Zach Caben and Nico Pop, who are our commentary team for the night.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. Hi, everyone. Nice to have your company wherever you're listening to us and watching us all around the country. Stock car time, Nick, as we talk about the famed Watkins Glen International in New York. And the fact of the matter is, this is a sensational racetrack. We're using the short configuration, which is exactly what the stock cars use when they visit, usually in August every year. So status quo there. And what we've seen so far this season would indicate that Glenn Postlethwaite will be the one to watch tonight.
And as you've suggested, yes, he is on the pole right now. So we're a couple. You can see it there on your screens, guys and girls. Glenn Postlethwaite on the pole on a 1:12 flat, followed by Michael Schreier, a 12:2. Chris Whitaker, our ever-changing livery guy, in third on a 12:3. Daniel Ackland on a 12:4. John O'Hill, my teammate, 12:5. We got... 12:8, my apologies. Sam Collins on a 12:9, another one of my teammates. Dean R. Ross, first of the 13 flat. Brock Payne, a 13 flat. Man, that Brock keeps getting better every week, doesn't he? John McLaughlin on a 13:1. Kane Baxter-Smith, 13:1. Brendan Jackson, 13:7. Scott Griffiths, where are we up to now? In 12th on a 13:9. Reece Goldfinch, now we've got a bit of a gap here, 14:1. Craig Rusty Russell on a 14:3. Nick Pinch Windsor, 14:4. Anthony Vismar doing double duties again, 14:5. Ads Ariel, a 16 flat. Timothy Weir, 16:4. And Mark Butcher, last of the qualifiers, on a 19 flat. Still have a couple of other cars in the server, like Ben Snell, Kester Ward, Brendan Whitaker, Bruce Keeley, Adam Lavies, Brady McHugh, Trent Lavies, Stephen Birchnell, Dennis Hancock, and a new name, Angus Clausen. So we'll see how these gentlemen go. We've just ticked over 11.5 minutes, so there's just on 8.5 minutes to go. As you can see there on your leaderboard.
Yeah.
And I'll just point out to the guys and girls now, all the presentation has been made by Rob, and he now has a reference in the bottom right-hand corner to which car we're riding with. So you can see there, number 33, Brock Payne. And now, it's back to Brock Payne, Mark Butcher. It tells you their car. In this case, what's a Toyota for Brock Payne there, and his license and division, where he's racing from, Australia, New Zealand, his best lap time, his last lap time, what lap number he's on, and I'm just trying to zoom in so I can see it. Last time he pitted. So all the information's there, guys and girls, so you can see if we're riding on board with somebody or if we're watching somebody, you can see number 33, Brock Payne.
Yes, and I know that I know most people are probably watching this on their phone, but it is available in HD on both Facebook and Twitch, twitch.tv/Doadrift. So it is designed for you to be able to watch it at 1080p or higher on your HD TV, and in that case, that reference box would look a lot bigger and a lot better. If you are watching it on your home TV, if you have got it set up in your lounge room, take a photo of it and send us a picture. I'd love to see that.
Yes,
that would be
absolutely.
fantastic.
Beat me to it, yeah.
100%. So we're getting set for what should be an awesome race here tonight. And when you look at the field we've got, Nick, it's going to be interesting to see who the movers and shakers are, because we know that Glenn Postlethwaite should be at the front. We know that Brock Payne's going to be in the top, half dozen of the field. And then there's a few guys that 1 week they're crash hot and 1 week they're crash not.
Yeah, exactly. This track is designed for these cars as far as I'm concerned. So I think hopefully we'll get a lot of people that are more hot than not, so to speak.
Indeed. I'm just now. I'm just going to say this right now for the benefit of everyone at home. You may see my name pop up on the leaderboard at some point. I'm not going to be in the field. I'm merely just joining the session so that I can see the feed that everyone else is seeing right around the country. Not just the feed, but also the timing screen, which is the most important part from a commentary standpoint. So, apologies for that. But we were in no trouble of breaking the server tonight, unlike GT's night, Nick, and so one extra person there not being part of the action is not going to hurt us, which is a good thing. But in saying all of that, one of the great things that we're looking forward to here is on Monday night when we come back. There's actually been a bit of discussion with regards to the GT while we wait for the stock cars to finish qualifying. About how we go forward with the big fields that we've got. Can you elaborate on that for us?
Well, we're going to try a bit of a tournament system where the top qualifiers go into the primary server, which you and I will be commentating on, and there'll be a second server. So it's either going to be qualifying times or license times, and then the top three from the top three finishes from the lower race will graduate up into the top race, so to speak, so we can keep an eye on numbers. So we'll see how that works. There's a couple different ways we're going to work it, but I'm not 100% entirely sure what's going on there, but it's just to help us all out, so everybody gets a race, everybody gets a decent race, and it leaves the broadcast race to be something of a goal for people to get into.
And in saying all of that, we had some absolute gold on Monday night. There's no doubt about that. But we had to back people away. We had to reject people from joining the server. So that will eliminate that process. So obviously, there'll be a main show, there'll be a B show that doesn't get broadcast. But again, through the help of Nick and the people involved with the iRacing platform and the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, we'll be able to at least let you know who's doing what in the non-broadcast race at the end of the night as well. So we'll accommodate as many people as we can, and everyone gets to have a hit out, and that's the main thing at the end of the day.
That's it. And I think it'll be a nice goal for people to aim to get onto the broadcast, so to speak.
Oh, for sure.
And
it's always the highlight of our week.
Out. Yeah,
exactly. All right.
We're just wrapping, coming to the end of qualifying. Got about 3 minutes and 20 seconds left. Still Glenn Postlethwaite on top, but he's just gone faster again. Looking for some movers and shakers. Brendan Whitaker's finally qualified. He's sitting in 12th. Him and his brother Chris have been having a bit of a head-to-head. Unfortunately, from what I heard, Brendan's got some new gear on the way, but it will not make it before the end of the season. So apparently, Brendan went over to Chris's house and had to go over his gear. And he was just as fast. So
did you just
goes
see
to
that?
show the equipment
Nick,
you use.
I'm not sure if you were watching then, Nick. We're on board with Chris Whitaker coming up over the bridge, and he was sideways across it and about an inch off the wall. It was fantastic. Unfortunately, afterwards he found himself in the wall, so it was less spectacular, but it was excellent view coming over that bridge there.
I was going to say, Brendan Whitaker's been in the wall as well. So a few of these guys finding the limits during the practice session and the qualifying session as well this evening here from Watkins Glen. So nice to have your company again. Rob, if you can send me through a live broadcast feed, that'd be terrific. And Nick, the thing I will say is this: a really good field tonight. When I'm just having a look through here at the moment, 21 cars now have lodged a time during, thank you, Rob, the qualifying session here. And then we have a look down, 2, 4, 5, 6 more of registered times in the practice session. So if you throw all that together, we could have 26, 27 cars taking the green flag in about 5 minutes' time.
Yeah, and I think that's what we had in the very, very, very first race when the interest was super duper high. So yeah, pretty good.
All right, now I have managed to find the timing screen coming in from Watkins Glen, so we've sorted out all the little gremlins we've had in the commentary box here. But bear with us, folks. We've got a great race to come your way, and an even better post-race show. Of course, some great conversations to be had with these drivers. And I want to mention this now right from the get-go, because our good mate Trent Lavis said to me earlier in the day. He said, 0 practice, full sends again tonight. Tester and I have done 0 laps of Watkins in these cars for tonight's race. We will likely be doing the ROF, rear of field, try and stay out of trouble approach, ha. So, and I had to substitute another word for trouble there, you might have noticed as well. But yeah, he's approaching this with an open mind tonight. Looking forward to that immensely. New livery for Glenn Postlethwaite as well.
Hey Zach, we just got a message in the Facebook chat from Christian Bazazi. I think that's the way to say it. If I said it wrong, I apologize. Barazzi. Keep up the commentary. Okay,
yes,
now,
old friend of mine used to race against him.
If you know Zach, you know that he doesn't lack the stamina to keep up the commentary. So he'll keep us going.
Don't worry about
that. So Christian has
thanks
just
for
recently
joining
joined
us tonight, Chris, as well. Thanks for joining us.
He just recently joined. He's been off sim racing for quite a while. He's looking to get back into it, so he'll miss this season, but hopefully he'll be on track next season.
If you ever needed something to encourage you to get back, just watching some of these feeds and these streams, definitely.
Now, interesting you mentioned that, Rob, because stock cars, the first thing I think back to the 91 Gold Coast Indy and some file footage I saw the other day at the Great Darrell East Lake in a post-race show from the IndyCar race itself, of which the stock cars was the support. And there's Glenn Postlethwaite having a moment, actually, that I've just seen there on my screen heading down into the dogleg section of the circuit.
He's having fun.
Quite incredible. Get it all out of your system now, boys, because the serious stuff's about to begin. The Great Darrell East Lake referred to stock car racing around the streets of Service Paradise as state of origin on wheels in terms of the intensity of it. So, yeah, we'll try and bring the action, as Lee Diffie says, here throughout the course of the night. And as we say, Watkins Glen International, such a great circuit. There's the checkered flag flying at the end of this qualifying session here. Glenn Postlethwaite and Michael Schreier, the top two on the grid. Chris Whitaker and Daniel Ackland, the second row. John O'Hill and Kane Baxter-Smith, the third row. Sam Collins, Brock Payne, Dean Ross, and John McLaughlin make up the top 10. Very interesting to see how McLaughlin fares tonight. Nick, your reading on what you've seen of qualifying, and maybe run us through the rest of the grid as well.
Yeah, quick, I'll run through the grid. We got Brendan Jackson in 11th with Brendan Whitaker. So Brendan's on the 6th row. Reece Goldfinch and Scott Griffiths. Then you got Nick Pinch-Windsor and Craig Russell. Then we got Anthony Visma, Ariel, Timothy Weir, Mark Butcher, and last of the qualifiers, Todd Parks. Then we have some other people that haven't qualified, such as Bruce Keeley. Oh, hold on, it's going to sort itself out here. We got Ben Snell, Angus Clausen, Bruce Keeley, Trent Lavies, Brady McHugh, Dennis Hancock, Adam Lavies, Maverick, Kester Ward, and Stephen Burchanel. I keep an eye out for Kester Ward doing a burn from the stern again, and for the top 10, it's the usual suspects, isn't it?
Oh, well, that's exactly right. Who's your pick? Is it Glenn Postlethwaite again?
It's hard to look past. It's very hard to look past, but the times are close here. So it's 40 laps. You got 2 fast repairs. We got, let me just quickly click on that. 2 fast repairs, 40 laps. We got a 30 incident count limit because you can get a lot just going through the bus stop. There's at least 4 there you can get on any one lap. And the fuel is limited to 50%. So we'll see how these guys go. I'm hoping it's not a standing start. I'm sure I put in a rolling start, but anyway.
Well, if it's a standing start, that's going to be exciting for us.
Yeah, I'd hate to be anybody on the grid. I
can't wait for the feedback afterwards.
I was discussing to some drivers, you want to be on the inside around here, especially for this grid. But I think I did put a safety car out there, so we'll see what happens. Yes, there is a safety truck. I'm just picking it up now.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Big sigh of relief from Nick, ladies and gentlemen. Hey, quickly as well, let's just have a look at this circuit, because iRacing will tell you that it's 8 turns, but it's actually 11 because the dogleg is counted as 4 on the map that I'm looking at, the actual track map from Wikipedia. Trust me on Wikipedia. How good's that going? The rest of the info for you. It's 5 o'clock in the afternoon New York time as we bring this to you. So, I mean, it's actually 6:30 in the morning over there, or 6:11 in the morning over there as we speak. But the race conditions set to 5 p.m. We can tell you that it's a 3.91 kilometre circuit here. And as Nick was saying, a dry race, a beautiful afternoon ahead here. 40 laps or 1 hour, whichever comes first. The pace car speed will be set to 97 kilometres an hour. Pit lane speed to 72 kilometres an hour. The incident count, penalties for every 30. And the incident count DQ limit, no limit there. And a fast repair limit of 2. So look forward to all of that. Cars heading around on their formation lap now. It will be a full formation lap. And then we'll get stuck in for 40 laps. I think the stock car race here, the Monster Energy Cup race here is about 90 laps for memory, Nick, so we've got quite half of that.
Correct, yeah, 90 laps. Tires do wear out. I think this is going to be a point of interest on the first lap. It's through the S's here. I know you can't keep it flat. Trust me, I've tried.
Yes.
It's really much about throttle control through there. You don't need to brake, but it's throttle control. So we'll see how they go. And let's see if some sensibility prevails through here and they go through the bus stop here at single file. I'll see what happens here. But
also, guys, just quickly, we've had the Ariel family from for ads is just in the Twitch saying "Go Dad." So there you go, ads. Families watching on Twitch. Welcome to the stream.
Yes, I saw that on Twitch. Yes. Awesome to get the support of everybody.
And don't forget, guys, let me know what numbers, put down what numbers you want to watch, which car numbers, and we'll try and get to them as much as we can.
Just a reminder, of course, safety car enabled at random, but of course there will be no safety cars within the last 10 laps of the motor race. The Lucky Dog and Wave Around will be enabled, of course, during that safety car period. Restricted fuel, so you can't go full distance on a tank of gas, and that's been a talking point throughout. Nick's talked about tyre wear throughout the course of this as well. And there will be rolling starts and restarts, single file for the restarts, double file for the main start, of course, here as well. So it's round 8. It's Watkins Glen. 2 rounds left at the end of this. Glenn Postlethwaite looking for, I think it's win number 5 of the season. Right here, right now. And we can't wait to bring you all the action from Watkins Glen, New York.
Here we go.
11 turns, 3.91 kilometres. Green flag and racing for 40 laps here. And Glenn Postlethwaite will lead the field down to the first first corner. You might notice that he's sporting a different livery this week. Let's see if everybody can sandwich and squeeze their way through the first corner cleanly. It looks like a couple of cars are using the extra bitumen on the outside there, the runoff area, but everyone through okay. Through the second and third corner, and then the run up the back straight to 5.
Wow, they got through the S's cleanly.
Amazingly.
See how they go on the bus stop.
Yes, exactly. Bus stop for the first time. The aerial shot tells the story. Single file, everyone pretty smart about it. On the opening lap, knowing it's a 40-lap race, knowing there's a long way between here and the checkered flag, knowing what can play out between now and then, and that it's not open, that it's not going to be won on lap 1. Postlethwaite leads the field up to turn 10 for the first time. He's already got half a second on the pack. As they sort themselves out, round onto the main straight. Let's have a look and see who the movers and shakers are here as we get underway. The race leader is Glenn Postlethwaite. Michael Schreier, Kane Baxter Smith, Chris Whitaker, John O'Hill, Brock Payne, the top 6, Sam Collins 7th, then John McLaughlin, Dean Ross, Brendan Whitaker. Making up the top 10 right here, right now. Nick rejoins us in commentary.
And at the back end of the top 3 there. Kane Baxter Smith, Chris Whitaker, John O'Hill.
Oh, massive battle going on here. Yep, just having a look at further back in the pack you're riding on board with at the moment. Well, you were riding on board with the midfield. Be interesting to see who's made their... Oh, car off.
Snell sideways, someone off.
There's 2 cars in trouble in the bus stop chicane, one on the outside, one on the inside. 185, that was Nick Windsor. And as you said there, Nick, it was Snell, the other car involved. 25 starters in all of this. Daniel Ackland down in 24th at the moment. Not an ideal start for him. Adam Lavis, Kester Ward, Trent Lavis, 22nd, 21st, 20th respectively, and Kester's in trouble now as well. Further back in the field, you're watching the battle between Sam Collins and Brock Payne, the 33. That's for 6th on the racetrack, and just behind them it's John McLaughlin.
Exactly, beat me to it. All 3 guys who race at Queensland Raceway.
Yep. QR regulars used to the rolling start format as well. It serves them well in the stock car series. There's no doubt about that. Have a listen to the sound of these engines. I don't know. I'm getting different sound effects to you folks at home, but what I'm hearing is just pure muscle. It's fantastic to hear the sound of race cars on a Friday night. We hope you feel the same way about it, folks, and you can hang with us for the next hour. Postlethwaite already 1.4 seconds clear. That's a concerning sign for the competition early on. He's sending a message very early here, Nick.
Yeah, he's building a gap. I was just watching on board there, Brock Payne from Sam Collins' car. Brock got a bit sideways there, and Sam's closed the gap to him even more now. So we'll see how the young bloke goes with Sam behind him. And it looks like the first couple of cars are starting to spread out now. Who can stop Glenn Postlethwaite?
That's been the question all season. And whilst there have been a couple of moments where, you know, say a Chris Whitaker has come through, there hasn't been too many other hiccups in Glenn Postlethwaite's campaign. Of course, I'm just trying to remember for the life of me, where did Chris get his win? Was it
Montreal.
Yeah, Montreal. Yeah, the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve. And there's a car in trouble just behind. You may have seen on your screen there. I'm
just trying to pick it up.
Not convinced who it was that was in trouble, and I'm just trying to look at who you're following there on your screen at the moment.
So we're with Ads Ariel at the moment. I believe it was car 89 that spun. So that was Timothy Weir.
Okay, so Tim Weir's having a wretched run of luck there. So that battle further up the field, I know we'll get back to it in a moment, between John McLaughlin and co, that is going off. You wouldn't believe that.
Yeah.
Just having a look further back in the field, we're looking at, I'm going to say that's Kester Ward we're having a look at number 44, heading out of turn number 9 here at Watkins Glen. The carousel, of course, again, carousel. What is it about racetracks and similarities to Lakeside that we've come across throughout the broadcast of the season so far? And Kester's having a good little fight here with Daniel Ackland.
Yeah.
Ackland
Doing
giving him the
double duty.
hurry up as they come onto the main straight. Here we go. Ackland to the inside. Can he get the job done down the inside of Kester Ward running into one? He's got the run. He's got the line. If he's got the muscle under brakes, no, he doesn't. Thinks better of it. Kester Ward hops last round. Ackland did extremely well to miss Kester Ward as he spin across in front of him at the speed of a tortoise. It was the slowest spin in the world. And yet, it was snail's pace. It was incredible. But
And this group on screen.
and that's the main thing in all of that, and Ward's been able to resume. Look at this battle here.
Well, these guys had a bit of
Nick.
These guys had a bit of contact down in turn one, and I think he might have taken his eyes off the road and actually spun trying to avoid these guys. Because John
enough,
Hill was in
too.
the front of this group, and he had I think him and Kane Baxter Smith got together. So now we got
Kane Baxter Smith's been in the thick of a few incidents so far this season.
so Kane has now jumped from I think about 7th up to 4th there. So there's a big long train back here, which
Yeah.
all the time helps Glenn Postlethwaite build a bigger lead of what's he got now, 3.19 seconds.
Yeah. It's a huge lead already, and Chris Whittaker's sitting there in 3rd spot at the moment behind Michael Schreier. You're watching the battle for 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th and 10th. Look at this. Brock Payne's got Sam Collins chasing him, has Kane Baxter Smith, John McLaughlin, Dean Ross, John O'Hill and Brendan Whittaker. That's the top 10 at the moment, and the line continues. It's like an Excel race, the early stages of.
And
At
Dean
the moment.
Ross just got the move on John McLaughlin there as well.
So that'll put him up into position number 7. McLaughlin back to 8. Tippy toe staff through the carousel at the moment as they head down to turn 9 and 10, I should say. They're out of 9. But run down to 10. There's Brock Payne. Collins in behind him. Then this battle pack, 5 of them. Not much separating them, all looking for their own piece of real estate. And all the meanwhile, Glenn Postlethwaite's lead continues to build out to 3.47 over Michael Schreier.
John O'Hill just got John McLaughlin there, and he's now defending into turn 1. He's going the outside now, so we'll see what happens here. And John McLaughlin has taken that spot back. It's all happening.
Oh yeah. This is terrific stuff, folks. We really hope you're enjoying this and that you'll stick with us right throughout the rest of the broadcast. We have our post-race show coming up, of course, on the back end of this. That was a moment for Dean Ross or John O'Hill, it might have been. That's going to allow John McLaughlin to get through. It was the 65, or the 55, I should say. So it was, Dean Ross touching the wall on the exit of turn 3 on the run up to turn 4. So that wasn't ideal for him. He's lost a spot in all of that. McLaughlin gets through. So did actually no, it was just McLaughlin that got through. Brendan Whittaker's in behind them, then Brendan Jackson. Already only 8.5 minutes of racing, Nick, and we've seen a lot.
Yes. And this top 10 battle is just going to be, I think, they're all consuming. It's all the same guys week in, week out. It's just going to be all consuming. Can't take your eyes off it. I guess even just further back, right up to Ben Snell, they're all bunched together as well.
Indeed they are.
On cue.
Yes, exactly. There's Snell. The 41 ahead of him, of course, in Scott Griffiths.
After all these rounds, Nick, I'm starting to learn your brainwaves as to what you're about to say.
Fair enough. That's good.
I'm glad to be still unpredictable for you, though, Rob. If that's the case, if you're learning to read Nick, I'm happy to be unpredictable.
Absolutely, Zach.
Now, through 5, 6, 7, and 8 they go. You're watching Griffiths and Snell at the moment. Sideways through 9. Snell closing up on Griffiths at the moment, but Griffiths up to the challenge, up to the fight. Look at it. It's just like peak hour traffic on the Bruce at the moment, except during COVID when the non-essential workers weren't travelling. It's a little bit easier to get through there. As they head to turn 11 one more time. Everywhere you look, there's a battle to enjoy at the moment, folks. It's really good stuff. we don't know exactly which battle to focus on because there's this excellent epic battle between Sam Collins, Brock Payne, Kane Baxter-Smith, John McLaughlin, John O'Hill, Dean Ross, Brendan Jackson, Brendan Whitaker. And then there's this one, 2 cars back, between Scott Griffiths and also Ben Snell. Trent Lavis is not too far behind them. Daniel Ackland, Craig Russell, Adam Lavis, Nick Windsor, Kester Ward's in 20th at the moment. And the good news is, as I scroll down the leaderboard here, Tim Weir's 2 laps down, but 25 cars still running.
Yeah, shout out to Ben Snell and Trent Lavies from 22nd and 23rd up to 14th and 15th. They're doing quite
Yeah, really
well.
good stuff. Slow moving car there on the exit of the carousel. On the grass now, in fact. I can't quite pick up who that is. You can see it there on the right-hand side. As we ride on board with, I believe,
One of the
Trent Lavis.
Yeah.
Just chasing Ben Snell at the moment. He's trying to get by the lap traffic ahead of him there. So whoever was on the grass there, we'll try and pick that up for you in just a moment, who that was. Back to the 76 now, our live feed goes. That's, of course, adds Ariel.
I'm liking the skin on this car.
it's
With the
not
rabbit
bad.
on the side. Yes. Bacon rabbits.
Car 31.
I couldn't help, for whatever reason. When I was younger, I was a strawberry and vanilla ice cream sort of person. It kind of looks like Neapolitan ice cream missing the chocolate. That's the read I'm getting on it at the moment. I know it's a weird place for my brain to go, but it's all of a sudden made me feel like ice cream. The livery on the Ariel car. Very good stuff.
Cool and smooth.
So
Yeah.
just for the
Yes,
Ads
Rob?
for the Ariel family watching at home, Ads has picked up, since we last had a look, he's picked up about 2 or 3 positions. So he's sitting at 22 at the moment and gaining.
Indeed, Scott Griffiths has just been served up on the straight out of the carousel on the run down to turn 10. He was in tremendous trouble down there. The car was getting smashed from pillar to post there. On your screen now is the parked car of Scott Griffiths. By 41, often, I dare say, probably out of business. That could trigger a safety car. The boys have been pretty good thus far this year. It looks like he's going to try and get back going. But it looks as though, it also looks as though he's got it going, but it looks as though he's also pushed the wall back in the process. In all of that. So that's been a big shunt for him, and he'll be coming to pit road.
I hope it doesn't affect the outcome of the race here. Going off pit road.
I was suspecting we might get a caution, but no, because he got back going, this race can remain green.
And that's another thing too, is the pit lane entry is right on the apex, final turn.
Well, that's exactly right, and that's always a trouble point around here. The other interesting thing too, I'm glad to see that our iRacing stewards in charge here tonight haven't been trigger happy on the caution, because if that had been an oval, or if that had been a supercar DSO, that yellow would have been already thrown and would be under safety car right now.
Yeah, it's actually for a track that I thought was going to throw it all in and be crazy. It hasn't been too bad. There's some cars peeled off the pit lane now already. So what are we on? Lap 12.
12 of 40. So does this suggest that we might be looking at 2 stops tonight?
I would say so. I think on 40 laps it might have been a one stop with a splash, but this is definitely a 2-stop race now for some of these guys. We watched Ben Snell with who is it? Reese Goldfinch, is it Reese? And Trent Lavies toe there, going through the carousel now, coming down the backstretch. Brilliant circuit, this one to drive.
Now, I just want to have a look too, because we haven't seen the leaders for a while, but Chris Whitaker, it's telling me, is leading this race by 2.07 to Glenn Postlethwaite and Sam Collins. So Glenn had a really comfortable lead early in the piece. Has he pitted, or?
Let's have a look ahead.
Well, let's try and follow up what's going on there. Pit lane is busy at the moment. There are a couple of cars on pit lane.
His last lap was a 22, so yes, he might be in pit lane now.
There you
Chris
go.
Whitaker's in pit lane at the moment,
now.
yes. Can
Chris
confirm
Whitaker's
it.
in now, so that will confirm that, yeah, Postlethwaite's down the order in there are pit stops unfolding here, folks, so this order will fluctuate and change quite significantly in the next few laps, but if everything goes to plan the way it normally does, the regular protagonists will be at the pointing end towards the end of the opening pit window here, and then comes the interesting little conundrum for them, Nick, where the the safety car gets thrown, of course, and that will bunch the field up, but then leave them with the question: do we pit now or do we have to pit later because of the strategy gameplay, the fuel load, the tyre wear, and everything else?
Exactly. And that's the thing, I tend to think if I were to race the race, take it easy until the safety car comes out.
Well, that's right.
And plot your strategy from there. I've got my personal feed on Most Exciting, and it keeps dropping around the circuit. I know we're watching on board here on, I can't tell who it is, but...
this is Glenn Postlethwaite.
This is Glenn. Pozzie's is coming through the last corner now, so well, just going to bring up my leaderboard. John O'Hill is currently leading, but is he in the
Yeah. And Ben Snell tells us he's in second at the moment. Trent Lavis, they're in third, following Snell at this point in time. The old burn from the steering working well for Lavis at the moment. We'll see what it means in the grand scheme of things. There's the caution now. The guys are out. And right in the middle of the pit window. So if you haven't pitted now, you might be in a little bit of trouble. If you have pitted, you're going to be okay. I think there's a car that's come off the circuit, and that's why the yellows are out. Was it the 28?
I think it was 20...
26? Anthony Visma?
Unlucky. Double duty.
Yeah, so the yellows have been deployed. Our first yellow of the motor race. Now, Nick, this is an interesting question. I don't know if you've got the answer to this for me. Because the yellow has been deployed now, I don't know what the random draw number is, but do we still get a yellow at that point?
This is the random draw.
This is the random number. Okay, good. Because I wasn't sure if the car was getting deployed for the car that was in the... Yeah, okay.
I think it might be coincidence, those two. So you can see a leaderboard on the screen there, guys.
Beautiful. I'm glad you're on top of it.
Currently John O'Hill from Ben Snell and Trent Lavies are 1, 2, and 3. This is going to suck for them because Glenn Postlethwaite's first car's pitted, so these guys are going to drop a heap of track position. But who knows? They could make it up in the back end of the race because this is a long race and there will be a second stop. So we'll see how this plays out for them. As you can see, all the blue names there on screen are actually a lap down. So we're talking from 16th back. No, my apologies. Yep, they're coming good now, so they're just crossing the line now. So once everybody crosses the line, if their name's still blue, I believe they're a lap down. So that'll be from Visma, Brendan Whitaker, Mark Butcher, Scott Griffiths, and Timothy Weir is 2 laps down. So those back end gentlemen there will be blue, and I think they'll get their wave around.
To be fair, Weir was 2 laps down about 3 or 4 laps ago, so he's had not a very good start. He'll get 1 wave around, he'll get 1 lap back, but he won't get both. So John O'Hill, Ben Snell, Trent Lavis, Glenn Postlethwaite, Michael Schreier, Chris Whitaker, Adam Lavis, Brock Payne, Sam Collins, Kane Baxter-Smith, the top 10 at the moment. We know that at least 4 of those guys have not pitted. So this order's about to get a little bit of a shake-up as they come to pit lane. And this is the thing, as you can see on your screen there, like 15 to 40. So they've had a really long stint. Makes you wonder, A, how long the stint is on a full tank. And we're going to find out now because the boys are coming to top up while we're under the caution. And how far they can push the second stint before they have to absolutely commit to pit lane. And we could potentially see pit stops around lap 29, 30, 31. So in that last 10 laps right here at Watkins Glen tonight.
You see the boys slowing down, nearly concertinaing into each other, trying to get down to the 72 kilometres an hour, which these cars do not have a pit lane speed limit, so you have to use second gear and make sure your tacho is completely lit up green to be right on the 72 kilometers an hour. And they give you, I think it's 2 kilometers either side. As we watch John Hill getting service now. Ben Snell's moving again, and it looks like, Trent Lavies and Jono's the first car.
We've got a message on Twitch from We Can Only Hope. He says, "Give Todd Parks a wave around. He deserves to beat Posy."
Rightio. Hey, 1 lap to green. That's the message you're seeing on your screen there, folks. The leaderboard tells the story. 1 lap to green. That's I was seeing the yellow flag not being waved but held, so I got that message before anyone else, I think, on the screen here in front of me. I've got 2 different screens going, showing me the action here, folks. Of course, this is Watkins Glen International. I'd personally love to see the Cup cars have a run on the bootleg circuit somewhere down the line, whether it's real life, whether it's Sim World. I think that'd be a great challenge, just to mix things up a little bit, Nick.
Well, it's interesting. I personally love this Cup circuit, and I absolutely hate the boot circuit. So,
and yet there'll be others that feel the opposite, I guess.
Opposite, yes. I feel that this is short enough for the attention span of oval people, NASCAR drivers. So, and I think pretty much. Remember, I said it years ago. 1 minute laps is about right for entertainment purposes. So, there's a little bit over. So, we'll see how that pans out. But
that being said, we never get any shortage of entertainment at Watkins Glen.
That's exactly it. So
we've had plenty of it thus far.
Just trying to figure out. That's not Glenn in the lead. It's
no.
Oh no, Glenn is in the lead. My apologies.
Okay. New livery this week for him.
Chris Whitaker and his new livery. That's what I was trying to figure out.
I was going to say, whoever's running the M&M liveries in contention for the livery of the night, as far as I'm concerned as well. Yeah. We were just having a look at that a moment ago. Getting set for a restart here, folks. And apologies, I've got a frog in the throat, so Nick might have to do some heavy lifting here. Away we go! Back racing at the Glen. Lap 16 of 40, or 17 of 40 now it should be, as they head towards turn 1. The run out of there is key and clean. So far from possible. A little bit of trouble further back, but everyone through okay.
Just don't know where to look. There's so much going on. Hopefully they get through.
Well, that's right.
You got Glenn Postlethwaite got a bit of a lead now on Mike Schreier, Chris Whitaker and Brock Payne as they head into the bus stop. All single file at the moment and going through there. Oh, there's a couple of cars at the back. Going side by side, but for the most part, you'd hope to be in Trent's, Jono's and, where are we? Shoes, because those guys had to fall to the back once they got service. So
and they've already come through from the back once tonight as well.
Yeah, they're going to have to use their tyres to get through these guys. But are they? Someone sideways into the second last turn. We just missed it. My point being,
there are 2 cars actually off at turn 10. The 31's there, and he's joined by 1 other. So we've got 2 cars in the wall.
That was car 79 there, Zach. Car 79. It's just switched over to the pits now.
Yeah, unfortunate for him. That's Brendan Whitaker.
We had 3 or 4 cars in trouble at that turn. Turn 9 and then turn 10.
32 is still stuck in the wall. 32 is still in the wall.
Now, will that trigger a second caution? No, it won't. I think it's been moved to the pit lane, so that's good. We keep this race green. We talked about safety cars breeding safety cars. It hasn't in this case, but damn lucky not to. As they make their way through the bus stop one more time. The aerial view shows the story. Glenn Postlethwaite leads this race.
They're breaking
Michael
up
Traer, Chris Whitaker, Brock Payne, Sam Collins, the top 5, Nick.
Sorry, they're just saying they're breaking up into groups again. So you got the front 2, the next 3, and then the rest. It's a bit follow the leader, and I think it's first to blink here. Figuring out your fuel window on the run, unless you've already done it beforehand, and figuring out where you can, the earliest you can pit to still make it to the end. So, as we know, no safety car on the final 10 laps to let the race run out.
Yep.
Let's see if those guys, such as your Trent Lavies, your John O'Hills, and your Ben Snells, can John McLaughlin, I think, was part of that group as well, can make it back, because those guys are sitting in 11th and worse. So going to be interesting. Todd Parks has parked his car for the night now.
Oh, dear, oh dear, we've just seen a little bit of trouble just behind where you're looking there, folks. The 66 is upside down. John O'Hill, he's got back going. But just back where, through the S's section of the circuit, a little bit of contact between McLaughlin and Hill saw Hill end up upside down.
He's looking a bit worse for wear there, Zach, looking at the vehicle.
Oh, there he is.
The left
So he's
side's
sitting
still
in
fine,
about-
though. The left side's all right.
Sitting in about 18th position now. He's dropped from 12th to 18th.
Shocker. Now, we were talking about the recipe for disaster. There's been a little bit of trouble since the restart here, more than you would have expected, actually. Now, it's Postlethwaite by 0.8 of a second. Australia to Whitaker, Collins, Baxter, Smith, the top five. Rob Payne is sixth in all of that. Keep an eye on the youngster as the night rolls on.
It's an exciting race. Came back to Smith getting his way back up there again. I was just thinking, those other guys that we see in the background there, John McLaughlin pitting, I think those guys made about 15 laps on that first tank, so it's probably like lap 25 where you can fill it in. Is that correct?
Fill it and get home,
Get home, yeah. So we'll see how that pans out.
the end of lap 25 at least, yeah.
Yeah. And I'm just looking on Twitch, Ariel family keep cheering on Dad, and he keeps getting on the screen. So guys, if you want to see somebody, let us know in the comments, both on Facebook and on Twitch. More than happy to throw it up.
Can I let it be known vocally or not? or do I not get a say? No, this is a cracking motor race here at the moment, folks. We'll keep our eyes peeled on as many cars as possible.
That's it, guys. The one thing we try to do...
Need, Rob,
sorry, Zach?
What we need is that picture-in-picture so that you can show a battle that's happening back in the field and show what's happening at the front.
I will do as best I can, and just for anyone watching, there is a donate button on the Twitch if you want to put towards some new equipment. No, it's fine. You don't have to. I'm just kidding. I just
every little bit helps.
We're trying to get some more equipment. I'd say we've got quite a bit of equipment over the last 4 weeks. So we're slowly improving every time, I think, and we're trying to add more features for everyone. But as you were just saying, this is an interactive stream, unlike the ones you watch normally on TV. That's it. If you want to see someone, let us know the number, and we'll flick across to them as much as we can.
Halfway point of the motor race.
Just looking back behind Sam Collins there, came back to Smith, got sideways to the half stop, and now we have Brock Payne going through on the inside, and who's that following him through? Dean. No, came back to Smith. It's just going on and on.
Oh, yeah, it's incredible what's going on here.
The next two corners, and came back to Smith back in front. Brock Payne trying the crisscross move, going to the outside for the final turn. Hopefully get the inside run for the first turn. Did they touch? I don't think they did, but it was close.
No.
There we go. Brocky came back to Smith throwing a block down the inside. There's still enough room for Brock to stick his nose in there. Will he have a go? He won't have a go. And then we got the 97. Who's that? Brendan Jackson to the outside, and he's got a past Brock Payne there. Now he's putting the pressure on Kane Baxter Smith. They're going to go up through the S's here. Now it's not a braking corner, but it's not a flat-out corner either. So it's all about throttle control. Just as I say that, and you can see that now Brock Payne is he's good through there. He's catching him up, and he's gone to the outside. What will happen here?
That's a very good question, and we're going to find out very, very shortly as they head into the bus stop chicane one more time. Nick, I've been throwing a little bit of a curveball because my trading paints have stopped working, but at least the numbers in NASCAR and stock car racing are big enough that I can pick it up easy enough as they head out of the carousel one more time. Lap traffic moving out of the way there behind. We're watching this battle with Brock Payne, with Kane Baxter Smith, with Brendan Jackson, and also with Dean Ross as well. All of them. 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th in the motor race.
Tightest battle so far. I'm just looking down the field. Ben Snell from 22nd now up to 10th. Kester Ward from 25th to 11th.
Yeah. Yep, really good performance from them. But again, thrown undone and quite badly so by the deployment of the course car where it was. If they'd have known it was coming out then, they would have probably gone into the pits a lap earlier. But they've not to be. And they're left doing pushing the proverbial uphill for a little bit longer, as they say, as they head along the back straight hill. Payne was a little bit taily there, heading up towards the bus stop this time around, but he keeps it on the black stuff. Through turn 5, 6, 7, 8, then to 9. 11 corners on this circuit. 4 of them in very quick succession there in the bus stop. Right, left, right. Not much time to think about it. You've just got to click the stamp and send it, as Daniel Ricciardo would say. You've just got to make sure you've got to commit to that section and get it right, because it does bite if you get it wrong, as we've seen on so many occasions. Further back there a little bit. Oh, jeez, this is, yeah, there's been a few hairy moments tonight, Nick.
That pit lane entry is possibly the worst in the world. It's right on the apex of a very fast 90-degree right-hander. As Kane Baxter Smith comes in, nearly got curved up there. I think he's going to push his luck and try and fill it and go from here.
With 17 to go.
This will complete the 24th lap. Oh, sorry, complete the 23rd lap. So maybe he can get home from here.
He's going to try and get 17 laps out of it. That's huge if he can. Massive.
We'll keep an eye on him.
We will, and we'll keep an eye on this as well. We're on board, heading up into the bus stop section of the circuit.
Nick Windsor sitting in 9th place.
And doing a nice job too. Clear of Trent Lavis by nearly 2 seconds and Kester Ward. Lavis and Kester are actually going to be having a good little scrap there in a moment. We'll come back to that shortly. We'll stay on board with Nick Windsor for the moment. And just listen to the NASCAR at work for a moment here, folks. Nick, I love the pure sound of the stock car, but by gee, they need better brakes on a track like this. Too long on the brakes.
I think long brake zones are fantastic for racing, but yes, these things are too heavy.
Yeah, exactly.
Heaps of tyre, but not enough brakes. So
the tyre wear's been a factor tonight, but not as much as we may have expected.
Yeah, it's we'll see. I think the fuel will be the issue here. As I'm on the screen here now, we can see Kane Baxter Smith coming out right in front of Brock Payne. So he is a lap down, but I think he'll get most of that back when these guys pit. Will it stay under green? That's what he needs. But if it goes yellow, he might be chucked a lap down here. So we'll see how he goes. He races 86s in the real world, doesn't he?
Nick Windsor.
Kane Baxter Smith.
Oh, Kane Baxter Smith. That's a very good question. I haven't been as across the 86 series as I should be. They don't visit Queensland Raceway.
Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
And you can see graphically the new tyres Kane Baxter Smith has just driven straight past Brendan Jackson now. So he's still a lap. Is he a lap down? He's still a lap down.
I think that was Brock Payne that just came into the pit lane as well, Nick.
Yeah. And you can see that new tyres just makes such a huge difference. So now Kane Baxter Smith has to get this lap done as quick as possible before Brock Brock Payne comes out. I'm just watching the leaderboard ever changing. There's some more cars.
Yeah.
I'm going to click on them while we watch.
Kester Ward has had a spin on the exit of one. So Kester Ward's in trouble. I know that's not what we're watching at the moment, but he's been in the wars all throughout the night. There he is now on your screen, just getting back underway. But he's run into trouble at turn one, and it's been a difficult night for those boys. I don't know how enthusiastic they will be to chat to us post race.
Yeah, there's been a couple like that. But hopefully, I'd like to see everybody win, but obviously you can only have one winner in one of these things. But I hope everybody has a good race from here on in. Let's see how Kane Baxter Smith fares.
This is right. So, who do we think's going to win it from here? At the moment, Glenn Postlethwaite's in a good position. However, Sam Collins is now our race leader, so I assume that Glenn Postlethwaite's come to the pit lane. Postlethwaite was leading by nearly 3 seconds last time by. Now he must be in the pit lane.
He's just behind the safety truck there, as you can see. Or you can't see. He'll pop out right now. There he is. So let's have a look. I'm gonna have a look.
I love the new look on Postlethwaite's car. Normally we associate him with blue. Tonight it's green and black and white. It's a great look.
And I'm just looking up the road. I think Brock Payne has jumped him.
Whoa, if that's the case, now this is going to be the interesting thing. A, the tyre selections in the pit stop, and then B, the fuel. Because it'll be a full tank for everyone. Don't worry about that. But has Brock done enough to get himself home? If he's leapfrogged Glenn, has he done enough to get himself home? And can he hold him off if he comes to fight? The 26 is in the middle of the road at the carousel. That's Anthony Visma, not the first time tonight.
So that was a false call by Brock Payne. Didn't jump him, but he's closed the gap a lot, as we see Sam Collins
this is good.
down pit lane, current leader.
So 14 to go, 13 next time by the line. It'll be 13 now, actually. Oh, off track again. This time the 76. So, geez, there have been some off-track excursions tonight. That was Adzariel this time around. That's, I think, in the bus stop as well, was it? So
Collins has done his final pit stop. He's leaving pit lane. Who's that coming down now? I can't pick a number on that.
No, neither can I just yet. 31. So that's Reece Goldfinch. Yeah, he's now in the lane. And the great thing about Watkins Glen, no one's fighting for pit bays here because it's 43 pit bays and 25, 26 cars. So we're not fighting for pit bays tonight, which is a good thing. Brendan Jackson, the current race leader, but on corrected order, we think it'll be Glenn Postlethwaite.
Yeah.
Jackson, Collins, Snell, Ravis, and Ross, the top five, yet to complete their second stop. How long can Lavis, how long can he go, given everything we've seen thus far? Can he redeem some time here on the front of the order? It's not going to be a happy Trent Lavis in the chat room tonight because he did so well to get through the field and then, of course, got undone by where the caution was thrown. Rob?
Number 76 is getting more and more people asking for ride-ons, so we're on a ride-on at the moment. And then I've been asked to check out 92, so we'll flick across to 92 as well.
Okay. Well, we'll do that in a moment.
Wait a minute. There is no 92. I'm sorry, whoever's asking for 92. There is no 92.
No, that didn't ring a bell to me. They might want to have a look at 97 or 95. That's the only two that I could think of. Now, let's ride with Adzariel down into turn 10 one more time. Here's your moment. Don't muck it up. Rides the ripple strip down to turn 11. Loving every minute of this. The Ariel family will be, as they come across the line one more time. So there's what have we got? 12 laps to go here at Watkins Glen. Lap 29 of 40. So we're almost three-quarter race distance, at which point we know there'll be no more cautions thrown. So once we get into the final 10, and it's starting to fizzle out a little bit this race, and I hope I'm wrong in jumping the gun with that assumption. I hope it'll fire back up in the last 10 laps, but starting to lose a little bit of its spark right here, right now.
Trent drives wide there at turn 1, and he's going to have Glenn on his tail pretty soon. I'm just double checking if Trent just pitted.
Oh!
Trent's yet to pit.
Jeez. I think that was... I'm just trying to pick up who that was. I think it was Ariel trying to avoid the lap traffic there, going straight through the bus stop. That's, that was hairy. But what I was going to say is, so once we get into this final 10, and we're almost there, next time around it'll be 10 to go, there'll be no cautions, no recovery, no assisted recovery for some of these drivers. It's going to be just go flat out and push to the limit, and hopefully it will get some sort of entertainment in the final 10 laps, but things are fizzling out there. The margins are extending from driver to driver. The most interesting battle I can think of at the moment is this three-way fight between Brendan Jackson, Dean Ross and John O'Hill. That's 9, 10 and 11, just a second separating them at the moment, and everyone else is fairly extended.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. Who knows?
Trent Lavis is in the lane.
Ben Snell won, I think, the first round on fuel, so you just never know. He's quite good on fuel saving. And as you said, Trent Laby's in pit lane. Brock Payne, Ben Snell, Craig Russell, Brendan Jackson, Dean Ross, and John O'Hill all making their way up. Tell you what, though, with all these guys that are so close together, you just got to keep reeling off the names.
Well, yes, exactly.
The top first 3 on the grid are sitting 1, 2, 3 on the road. So that's Glenn Postlethwaite, Michael Schrag, Chris Whitaker. Try to go too fast then. And we got Sam Collins has jumped up from 7th into 4th. And then just have a look where Trent's going to filter out. It looks like 185. He's filtered out just in front of Nick Windsor, so about the 12th position there. So let's see how where he falls in terms of the excitement of the race. He looks like he's a bit behind the guys we were following just before. So once again, a silent achiever, Brock Payne, dragging along Ben Snell behind him. So hopefully this fight tightens up as well. And they're in the 6th and 7th positions there. I think they'll be 5th and 6th now that it's across the line. I
was going to say, Brock's been a standout performer right throughout the series, whenever he's been involved. No real surprise to see him punching above his weight again tonight. On the precipice of securing a top 5 finish, he'll be delighted with that if he can pull it off. But he's going to have some real stiff competition from Ben Snell in the closing laps here. Let's go back to this battle between Kester Ward and also the 23 of Adam Lavis. They're on your screen now, heading onto the main straight. We're on lap 32, 9 laps to go here. These boys just completing lap 31. It's gone Postlethwaite by 4.7 seconds to Michael Schreier. Chris Whitaker third, doing nicely there. Sam Collins, Brock Payne, Ben Snell, Brendan Jackson, then Dean Ross, John O'Hill, Daniel Ackland, then Trent Lavis.
Now, I have to say,
the battle for 13th with Kester Ward and Adam Lavis. Rob,
while we're on board with Adam Lavis, he has been working very hard on some new cameras for a few of the series, new camera reviews. I haven't had a chance to put them in yet, and I do apologise to him. For a guy that doesn't have a job, I seem to be busy all the time, but we're looking at tomorrow implementing these new cameras, so hopefully from some of the new series you'll see some even more exciting cameras coming up, and that'll be thanks to Adam. And I apologise, I did have a couple other guys message me through with some they've done, and I'll give them some credits on the next streams once they're up and running. I'll let everyone know. So once again, thanks to everyone who's been putting that through, and we'll get that up and running soon.
And then, of course, we go to Bathurst in a fortnight. I'm looking forward to seeing the camera angles you've got ready for that one too, mate. That'll be fantastic. So that'll be the final round of the Stock Car Series. Next week, Stock Car Series heads to Phillip Island, and that'll be just as much fun. Hey, Nick, one thing we forgot to mention at the top of the broadcast, in fact, right throughout, the championship points here in both series, actually. So that's something I might get you to chase up and have a look at for me.
Have a look at
for the post-race show, because we just ran out of time there at the start tonight, organising different setups for us. But no, it's been great fun, and we hope you're enjoying it wherever you've been watching around Australia. We are in the final quarter of the motor race here. We're watching Benny Snell, the 141, and he's got by Brock Payne actually last time round.
I was about to say,
Snell to 5th and Payne to 6th.
Watch the Ben Snell, Brock Payne fight, because Brendan Jackson, Dean Ross and John O'Hill are closing in quick. So,
well, it's probably a good thing for Snell that he's cleared Payne, because he's already built a gap. He's built a buffer. So Payne's going to come under pressure very shortly from Jackson, Ross and Hill. You're absolutely right about that, Nick. In fact, there they are closing in on him now. You can see it behind Snell. There's Payne. He's about to be under tremendous pressure over the last couple of laps here. And that'll be a battle, a four-way battle for 6th, 7th, 8th and 9th here as they head to the bus stop one more time. Postlethwaite clear by 5.5. No one touching him tonight. And Schreier, Whitaker, Collins and Snell. Highlight of the race so far, Nick?
the first section up to the pit stops. That was
yeah, agreed.
Balls to the wall, but flat out the whole way. So
100%.
Good on them. It's entertaining, very entertaining. This fight behind Brock Payne's also closing up too. So those two guys behind him are really hunting him down. So did Brock take tyres? Oh, as he gets sideways onto the front stretch. We'll see how this pans out here with these guys. They're going to be putting the pressure on him pretty soon.
Indeed they are. So 44.5 minutes into the motor race, those of the last time by the line, we are closing in on the end. We're in the final 6 laps. The final 8 of the race is just around the corner. Lap 35 of 40 here. Hope you're enjoying the action. A reminder, Monday night, GT's Daytona road course. Awesome racing set for you there on Monday night. And then, of course, next Friday night, production cars, to be advised what venue, what car. We didn't actually think to get that information from Paul before we came on air here. And then, of course, also, next Friday night, stock cars, Phillip Island. And that will be interesting because it's a circuit that has a lot of runoff area, but a circuit that you wouldn't normally associate with this sort of racing. So it'll be an interesting challenge all around, and maybe that might be where we see Glenn Postlethwaite's winning run come to an end. Maybe not. In fact, he might go a long way to putting one hand on the championship next Friday night, same time, same place next week. It'll be the 29th of May, and we look forward to your company then. Have a look at this battle continuing here. The 97, Brendan Jackson down on the inside of Brock Payne, job done. Payne now slips back into position number 7, Jackson to 6th. Top 5, still Postlethwaite, Schreier, Whittaker, Collins and Snell.
Yeah, so this 4-car train, it looks like Brock Payne's tyres have had it, and he's falling back through the field. So
and this was one big talking point. We were worried about who was going to be where when it came to tyre wear in the back end of this race, and it looks like Brock's going to lose out completely, Nick.
He's got these guys, oh wow, they're all over him, mate. Dean Ross, John O'Hill. Oh, John O'Hill going to the outside of Ross there.
That was brave, bold and unsuccessful. But now he tries the outside going into 11. And that won't work either. Can he get the up and under and the switchback going down to 1? Oh dear. Brock Payne in all sorts of trouble here. He's not in trouble in terms of the car. He's just in trouble in terms of his mirror. It's absolutely chock-a-block full of stock cars. He's got pressure from all angles at the moment. He's wide at 1. There goes the 55 and Andy Ross up the inside. John O'Hill looking to go with him. There's the aerial shot. Jono can't go just yet, but Dean Ross does. And Ross goes through. That's position number 7. Payne back to 8. We keep watching this fight. Watch John O'Hill. He'll be looking to get by Payne this time round. 4 laps to go. 3 will be the next time by for our race leader. In fact, he's probably already on his 3rd last lap now. He should be across the start-finish line. It might be actually that he started lap 37, not 36, and I'm jumping the gun. But we are in the closing stages all the same. There's Chris Whittaker. It's position number 3 on our screen. I'm having a look at 2 different screens here, folks. So Chris Whittaker's still running in 3rd at the moment, but even he's having a quiet and lonely run for his standards. He's 4 seconds clear of Sam Collins, so he's going through lap traffic at the moment. Now our eyes are focused on the 185 now and Tim Weir. The 185 is Nick Windsor, Tim Weir in the 89 already, as I say, 3 laps down now. Kester Ward's in trouble in the dog leg again in the last stop section of the circuit. So things going from bad to worse for Kester tonight. But Glenn Postlethwaite is leading this motor race and doing a bang-up job of it. Across the start-finish line, we've got 2 to go.
The Postlethwaite steamroller, when can it be stopped?
Well, this is the thing. We keep asking it every week, and he keeps delivering the goods every week. It's a skill.
His lap times are blown out to 14s and 15s, considering his fastest race lap was a 12.
Yeah.
He's still faster than anybody else on circuit.
And when you look at the qualifying time as well, a 12.02 in qualifying and a 12.06. So he's been consistent all night, hasn't he?
Been consistent all night, and he's just still faster than anybody else. So I don't know where anybody else is going to get the speed.
Yeah, indeed.
The director could go back to Ben Snell, Brendan Jackson, Dean Ross, Brock Payne, John O'Hill, and it looks like, yeah, John O'Hill will be back into that. There's still a bit of a fight going on here. Oh, no, Brock Payne's all by himself now. I'm so
very glad. I thought my eyes were playing tricks on me there, Nick, but my custom paints has now decided to start working again. So this is a really good result for me. Last couple of laps here, Brock Payne, as you say, is going to be in trouble as they head through. There he is on your screen. He's got, as you say, John O'Hill and Brendan Jackson all over him, and even I was going to say Daniel Ackland, but the gap's too big now, 7 seconds. As Glenn Postlethwaite will come back across the line next time around, and we should get a white flag. So white flag in the air, last lap of the motor race. And Glenn Postlethwaite is on track to make it, 5 wins in 6 weeks or something ludicrous like that. I mean, it's just been a phenomenal stint, phenomenal performance. We were just looking at Benny Snell. There's the 31 now of Reece Goldfinch just running wide on the exit of 1. And despite the fact that we have seen a little bit of carnage tonight, it's been relatively clean and probably cleaner than we anticipated. Nick?
Yeah, I think this particular circuit suits these cars. I mean, they're not super long corners, and it's high-speed flowing corners, so I think it's not too bad for these guys.
We might get Rob to go back to Glenn Postlethwaite now, because he's going to be coming across the start-finish line any tick of the clock. There he is, right on time. How about that? Glenn Postlethwaite, 5 in 6 weeks. Doesn't matter what track you throw him on. He's just class above at the moment. No match for the the competition was no match for Postlethwaite tonight, and he wins at the Glen. A very nice performance, and now he's going to smoke it up against the wall there at turn 1. An incredible drive, and in the end, the margin was only 0.7 of a second.
Yeah, so he backed off because it's his teammate. Formation finished across the line, and they had another teammate, I can't remember, I think it's Scott Griffiths, to come across with them all together. So, well done to those guys. And
they're going to light it up and have some fun.
Yes.
What an incredible race that was. Postlethwaite from Schreier, then back to Chris Whittaker in the 3rd, Sam Collins 4th, then Benny Snell, held off Brendan Jackson. Then Dean Ross, John O'Hill, Brock Payne ended up 9th in all of that, unfortunately. Daniel Ackland rounded out the top 10. Trent Lavers will be frustrated with 11th, given how well he was running in the early stages. Nick Windsor 12th, Adam Lavers 13th, and then, of course, John McLaughlin and Kane Baxter Smith round out the top 15. Test Award, Brendan Whittaker, Scott Griffiths, Reece Goldfinch, and Ads Ariel in for 20th. Tim Weir was a few laps down in 21st. Behind him, Anthony Visma heard a shocker yet again. Craig Russell, Mark Butcher, and Todd Parks was a retirement in the early stages. But the win belongs to Glenn Postlethwaite. You shouldn't be surprised.
A very good drive. It wasn't really challenged at all, and as you can see, he's got very good car control of this particular car, so he's drifting it around the circuit. A lot of standout drives there, because that race was just... I guess it started to string out towards the front end, but there were still guys coming from the back after that restart, so it was still... didn't know where to look.
There were drivers just doing doughies in the pit lane then to celebrate the end of this race and burnouts. I mean, there are certain rules that you can get away. There are certain things that you can get away with in iRacing, and that is clearly one of them. Could you imagine the uproar if a driver started doing his donuts in the pit lane in the real world?
Exactly. Well, there's even no animated people in pit lane there, so that's actually
True.
probably a good thing.
Very good thing, absolutely. So yeah, Glenn Postlethwaite does it again. I'm not in the slightest bit surprised by that. 9:09 on a Friday night. Hang around, folks. We're with you for another few minutes here because we're going to have a chat to the drivers as we usually do on a Friday night. Probably take you through to the top of the hour, and of course, it's almost 6:00 Watkins Glen time on the simulation there. And as far as the morning's concerned, it's only 7 a.m. in New York at this point in time. So good morning to anyone that's tuning in over there and right around the world. Actually, hope you've enjoyed the race. Both races, in fact, on a Friday night. That was quality entertainment with the capital E. And I mean, just have a look at Glenn Postlethwaite in a class of his own at the moment. Every track you throw these guys on, he's the benchmark, and he sets out and proves it and stands by it and handles the tag of favourite everywhere we go. And consummate professional in terms of this iRacing stock car series for the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, of course, presented by Central Coast Subaru and LJ Hook again. On a Friday night, Nick, I know you're going to drag some drivers into the chat window for us in just a moment, but in all of that, I have to say we've enjoyed such incredible racing across the previous 8 or so weeks, but to finally see the stock cars on a stock car circuit that we see in the real world, other than motorsport, I guess. Because that's only for the Xfinity series. But for the Monster Energy Cup, we see them on Watkins Glen. Now we've had a real world and a sim world comparison, and still Glenn Postlethwaite's a mile above.
Yeah, he just he knows how to drive these cars on the limit fast and efficiently. So yeah, can he be touched? I don't think so. We'll see what happens because everybody, if you're a true red-blooded Aussie, you're gonna know Bathurst.
Well, this is right, yeah.
So I think even over a 2-minute lap, I think the gap will be closed to him. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I'll just grab a first interviewee.
Thank you, mate. Glenn was 16 points clear from Chris Whitaker and Cal Watmore in the points coming into this event. Brock Payne 4th, Ben Snell, Trent Lavis, John McLaughlin, Kester Ward, Brendan Whitaker, and Sam Collins. The only one missing from all of that tonight was Cal Watmore. I don't know what happened to Cal, but he wasn't in the chat room tonight. He wasn't on the track. So we missed out on seeing Cal Watmore try and hold on to third place in the series. He'll lose all of that. In the in the production car racing league that we had before the stock cars, Michael Hammond had an easy, comfortable championship lead coming into tonight, so it's probably a good thing because he didn't have the greatest race. Shane Witt, Dave Farrelly with the top three there, and then Michael Porter, Josh Millard, Jared Daly, Chris Polly, Cohen Addard. So a much-needed win for Addard tonight. Nickel leap from Paul Nichols, their 9th and 10th, because obviously Paul was not on the grid, and Nick was. And Josh Millard didn't have the greatest race, so he'll probably lose a few positions in all of that as well. So we'll update you on all of that next week. I'm looking forward to getting the comments of this bloke, though. The first bloke in to have a chat to us post-race. No surprise. On the podium yet again, Chris Whitaker. 3rd place, mate. And yet again, Glenn Postlethwaite, the benchmark, and he just seemed to get further and further away.
Just too fast. Just for a change.
Just for a change. Oh, brilliant.
Full credit to him. He's stuck a lot of hours in this week again. And the 1 lap pace I sort of had, but those long runs, he was just punching out stupid lap times again. And off the start there, I didn't get the greatest jump. Got caught in a bit of a battle for the first couple of laps, which, the second he jumps away, it's gone. You've got to be there. You've got to be on him. So to your question or something you just brought up a second ago, but in relation to Cal, he's actually sitting in the hospital right now. The arrival of his firstborn. So
yes.
there was a little joke that we put out before the race that whoever wins the race, if he has a boy, whoever wins the race, that's who he has to name it after. So we're all looking forward to seeing Glenn Watmore.
Yeah, exactly right. Congratulations to Cal, and all the very best to you and the bride, of course. we wish you nothing but the best there. And I have to say, a colleague of mine from an old radio station that I was involved in for nearly a decade, 2MCE, Adam Thompson, congratulations to you and Kate on the successful arrival and safe arrival of, albeit prematurely, of your first girl, second born as well. So it's been a big week on the baby front. Tyre wear, mate. Let's bring things back on track and stop getting all mushy about kids. When you're talking about this race, we knew tyres and fuel was going to be a factor. The fuel stint seemed to be very long, and that was good. Tyre wear, how was it for you?
Fuel wasn't too bad, as you say. Tyre wear, likewise, it wasn't all that bad. The first couple of laps, you got a pretty good chunk out of them, but then they sort of, they dipped fairly severely, and then they just plateaued. So, for argument's sake, that last stint, Brendan forgot to take tyres, and he was doing exactly the same lap times as prior. So it didn't really have too much of an effect there. In saying that, I think the strategy I ran anyway, with 4 up front and then 2 in the second, I don't think there's anything else that you could have run really.
No, that's true. Sam Collins was giving you a fair run for your money in the closing stages there, mate. You only finished 1.3 ahead of him.
Yeah, we'll just say lap traffic. I lost about 4 seconds in one lap, and I was kind of pooing as the politically correct way to put it. I ended up finishing with 0 incidents, and I knew I was sitting in that position, going 3 laps to go. Had a lap car. I thought he pulled the handbrake on the apex of the bus stop there. May as well have, but I thought it was all over at that stage. But I'm hoping with Posy just joining now, I'm kind of hoping that he's dropped the wheel somewhere, so maybe I end up with more points. But he's got a massive lead after my stuff up last week with the fuel strategy and then speeding in the pits and everything. So the championship's basically over, as good as it can be. So
I was going to say, we didn't actually get to hear from you last week, so it's nice to have you back in the chat room, Chris Whittaker. We figured that it wouldn't have been safe for broadcast to have you in here last week anyway.
Exactly right. That's exactly why I didn't rock up, mate. You've been waiting for me to drop a clanger the whole time. They would have come out last week.
Dear. That's all right. We'll wait till the end of the broadcast, because by the sounds of it, with the with the production car race and the stock car race both being longer, it sounds like we'll be here till midnight in a couple of weeks' time anyway. So that, in which case, it will be prime time or past prime time in Western Australia, so you won't have to worry about it. Hey, stay there, mate. I'll come back to you in a moment. Michael Schreier's in the chat room. So too, Glenn Potterweight. 5 in 6 weeks, Glenn. There's no stopping you, mate. It doesn't matter, as I said in the broadcast, in the race call. Doesn't matter the track, doesn't matter the car. You're the benchmark, and you're living up to it. Well done.
Thank you, mate. Yeah, I was looking forward to this week. I was really hoping to have a good battle with Cal, but I'm not sure why he's not here, to be honest, tonight.
We were just saying before you joined us in the chat room, he's awaiting the arrival of a kid at the hospital. So, unfortunately, as much as we're looking forward to the arrival of Glenn Watmore, if it is a boy, as Chris was saying there a few seconds ago, the hospital wouldn't allow him to bring his sim set up with him, which is rather rude of them. But anyway. Mate, congratulations again. A team 1-2, yourself and Michael Schreier. You've got to be delighted with that.
Yeah, it was really awesome to get the 1-2. Daniel Ackland, the other teammate, he actually had power go out just before the race. He probably should have been up there somewhere as well.
Yeah.
But he was lucky he got back in.
Yeah. What is it? I must admit, that's the absolute clanger of iRacing, isn't it? The tech glitches. It's not the 50-cent pieces. It's the things like the power and the computer, the expensive stuff that lets you down. Whereas on the racetrack, it's the 50-cent parts. It's incredible, isn't it? Hey, Glenn, just quickly, we'll get the chance to come back to you and have a chat throughout the course of the night, and I'm going to go to Michael in a moment. But Chris mentioned something there about losing a bit of time chasing or trying to get around some lap traffic. Did you have any issues like that tonight?
Overall, it was pretty good. Most people were pretty respectful in that, but I had one little incident into the bus stop where there was a car around and I didn't see it because I had another one in front of me.
Yep.
And yeah, I was sort of locked up and I just touched the back of the other car and got a couple off track. I was clean until then, I was spewing, but
I was going to say it was a relatively clean race from everyone across the board. Yeah, a couple of off-track excursions, a little bit of grass clipping, lawn mowing, all that sort of stuff. but we didn't see too many incidents across the course of the hour.
Yeah, Watkins Glen is usually really bad at the starts, after the first couple of corners, so I was surprised that we all made it through.
Yeah, so was I.
Mate, I think we all were. Now, let's go to, we'll come back to you, Glenn. Michael Trayer, second place. Best result of the season for you, I think, if memory serves, and a team 1-2 at a track that clearly Glenn loves and clearly it agreed with you as well.
Good night. In practice, sitting, I think, top 5, and I thought, oh, yeah, this is looking pretty good. And then come qual, the track really hooked up, and yeah, just found a few more tenths and moved up to second. And yeah, that was a precursor for the night, I reckon. It was good after that.
Yeah, it certainly was. Let's jump in to ask you about strategy play, because we saw a few guys go really long in that first stint and it come back to bite them. You weren't one of those. The misfortune of some helped you out in the grand scheme of things, didn't it?
Yeah, definitely. But I just base my race off Glenn. Basically, I just try and follow what he does, and he pits. He lets me know, and we just follow each other in and sort of try and run the same strategy. Just try and keep on the back of his bumper, but he just keeps pulling away. So I'm gonna have to work on my pace a bit.
Yeah, I was going to say it's all good and well to have the plan to follow him through and stick with him, but it's getting harder and harder to stay with him as everyone's finding week on week. Doesn't matter the track, it just seems to be that 10th or 2 quicker than everyone.
That's right. I mean, he's definitely got the pace, but in that first half of the race, I felt that I was able to keep on his bumper, but then after we just took left-hand side tyres in the second stop, I just couldn't match him for the pace, because as we know, Glenn just likes to go sideways. So yeah, it was a good race overall.
It certainly was, and we're just seeing some highlights of it on your screen right here, right now.
Now, Michael,
question from Twitch.
Yes, as you know, we do put out the option to our Twitch and Facebook followers to ask questions of any of the drivers in this post show, and we've got a question from We Can Only Hope on Twitch, which is specifically for you, and that question is: what is the best way to prepare squid for a barbecue?
You're gonna have to ask someone else that question. I wouldn't have a clue.
Anyone want to chime in at this point?
He said also hi. It's Casey.
Casey. Yeah, he's been around, Casey. No, he's a good top bloke.
Best way to prepare that is, so you put a bit of butter on the barbecue, chuck some in the bin, and put some snacks.
Bam.
Excellent stuff. I'll let you two chat amongst yourselves there for a moment, but hang tight because we'll come back to you. I want to go down and quickly have a chat to our good mate Trent Laves, because you were the bloke that unfortunately got brought undone, it's fair to say, Trent, by the deployment of the safety car there early in the race. You guys were going as long as you could, burning from the stern, from the back, and did a great job of driving through the field, all for it to be brought undone and sent back to the rear because you had to pit during the safety car. It really cost you in the end, mate.
Yeah, I think both me and Mr. Snellivision missed out on that one. We were trailing each other around pretty much most of the race before I bowled several wides when I jumped to the lead. Back to that later. But yeah, it did sort of screw us up a little bit, but you see where Ben was at the end of the race. He drove really well, and I should have been around that place if I didn't bloody throw myself into the weeds, but what it is, all part of racing.
So you've had an incident that we didn't see. What happened?
Well, I said to the boys over the Discord that, oh crap, I'm leading the race, and after Ben pitted, and into turn one, I decided for some stupid reason to go back to first gear and banked it in and went wide, and then into the chicane, and I wasn't looking at the chicane. I decided to brake 100 meters later than I should have.
Yes.
And bolted wide straight through as well. Yeah. And luckily enough, I didn't get in Leno's way, but got out of Fozzie's way and got into the pits and finished all by myself there, sort of following Dan around.
Yeah, down in 11th, mate. So probably not the ideal result you would have been chasing, but again, as I said at the top of the call, you messaged me on socials earlier today and said 0 practice. We're learning as we go tonight. How'd that work for you in terms of, were you comfortable with the car? Were you comfortable with the track despite the limited practice and preparation?
Never for this car, mate. It's always on edge, especially around this track. It's pretty loose the whole time. Phillip Island's going to be interesting. It's going to be the same sort of thing. The car's just going to be squirrely everywhere, but it should be a shed load of fun and keeps everyone on their toes and obviously brings out the men for the boys. So top job to the boys up the front too, for especially Chris. And 0 incidents I heard on the radio there. That's a cracking effort. I got 2, but that's a really good effort. Hang around at the front there and not bowling wide.
Indeed. Now, well done. We wish you well at Phillip Island next week. We'll come back to you if we get a chance throughout the course of the chat here. Of course, the week after, don't worry about Phillip Island being interesting. Everyone's going to be on edge come the week after when we get to Bathurst as well. And we're finishing with some strong tracks, folks, so please come back and join us next week. Kester Ward, every time I saw you tonight, you seem to be in the wars, mate. Tell us about it, please.
Yeah, I'm not too sure what happened there. I got taken out pretty decently into turn 1 and lost a bunch of spots. So I was trying to save some tyres, and I thought I was actually on for a pretty good finish. But turns out after that, it just went downhill.
Yeah, indeed. Now, I just wanted to point out as well what Trent there, for anyone that might have misheard it, he said shed load. So shed garage, okay? We're not, we're again in a G-rated sort of time slot here. Memo to Chris Whitaker, of course.
Like he's
Sorry, Nick, you were going to chime in?
I was just saying beep.
Yeah. So, Kester, it seemed to be a challenging night. And of course, you were one of the Burn from the Stern characters as well. You and Trent coming through there. It seemed to work really well, but then the safety car also hampered your progress too.
Well, I think the safety car actually worked in my progress because when I got spun out, I killed the rear, so I decided to dive in a bit earlier than I was planning on to get a new set because it was just horrific to drive. So I actually made up a fair few spots under safety car and was quite happy with that.
He ended up bloody 7 spots in front of me after the safety car, the bugger.
Okay, and then in the end, you've ended up 5 positions behind him and 1 lap down. So what happened in the second half of the race?
Oh, I was going all right, and then unfortunately, John McLaughlin and I were having a pretty good run, and I must have braked probably a little bit earlier than he was expecting me to through the bus stop there, and I think he locked up a little bit and basically got into the back of me and spun me round, and he was nice enough to redress that one, and then on the next lap, poor Adam Ariel there that's trying to get used to these cars, and good on him for having a crack because they're not easy. Myself and Chris and John all came up on him pretty quick into the bus stop, and I think he sort of didn't know which way to go, and didn't matter which way he went, he was going to take out one of us, so he got a little bit into, I think he just missed Chris and got me a good one, so I'm glad it was me and not Chris for that. I mean, actually, no, I wish it was Chris.
No comment.
I'm not surprised by that, actually. Hey, the other interesting point to come out of the race, obviously, was the back end. There, you mentioned John McLaughlin. Unfortunately, he's not in the chat room, but he got caught up in a couple of different incidents tonight, not just yours, Kester. So I dare say John might feel the brunt of a penalty from the stewards post-race, but we'll find out how things go once the footage is reviewed. Hang tight there, mate. We'll come back to you if you get a chance. Benny Snell, talk to me about your night. 5th spot in the end. The best of the rest because the top 4 was separated by 6 seconds, and then you brought the rest of the pack home and a cracking scrap between yourself and insert names here. Brendan Jackson, Dean Ross, John O'Hill, Brock Payne. They were all there or thereabouts, but you brought the pack to the checkered flag, mate. Well done.
Yeah, cheers. It was an interesting night starting from the back once again.
Yes.
I jumped in with about 10 minutes of practice. I did, I think, 3 laps at the end of the quali session there, and I 1x'd every single one of them because, of course, you just go out and push hard as you can straight away, and that's how you learn on iRacing. But, yeah, pushed real hard in the first stint there trying to get up front, and unfortunately went 1 lap too long and got caught up by the safety car, and then got reset to the back again with Trent, and then both of us tried to push our way through, and then I got caught up with a small incident again with who was it? John. It was John, yeah. John and Jonathan Hill, I believe it was, going up
That's
turn
right.
2. and John bouncing off the wall and into me and Jonathan, and I managed to get through and limp the car home, and I'm extremely happy with the top 5.
Poor old Jono was upside down in all of that. We were lucky not to get a second caution there, to be honest with you. From your standpoint, obviously, mate, top 5, fantastic. But to do that, it would have been possibly a strain on the tyres. How were they at the end of 40 laps?
It wasn't too bad. I took tyres, obviously, in the pit stop in the safety car. I took 4 tyres because I was going to be at the back of the field either way. And then I took the same strategy as everybody else, taking 2 tyres in their second stop. I just had 6 lap fresher tyres than everybody else because getting in the safety car meant that my right side seemed to be a lot stronger than everybody else's coming through after that second stop. So I think I managed to pick up 4 or 5 spots after that second pit stop.
Yeah, and obviously had the first stint gone a little bit better for you. You may have been challenging Sam Collins and Chris Whitaker there, but onwards and upwards to Phillip Island. Hang there, mate. We'll come back to you if we get a chance. Adam Maverick Lavis, I should say. Let's go to you. I was getting that right all night, and then I've just slipped up. Adam, tell us about the night from your standpoint, mate. You were 13th in the end. Last of the cars on the lead lap, but a long way behind Nick Windsor. It looks as though it was a night where there was a little bit of trouble here and there.
It was more of I had overconfidence coming in. I thought I know Watkins Glen or Father Games, thought it'd be sweet.
Yeah.
And first practice session, got in the stock car, realised these are a lot sketchier, and crashed about 5 times in a row going up the hill, and thought, no, we're in for a big night.
Yep.
So
sorry, was that 5 times up the hill? Did you say?
Oh, something like that. Close to 5 times, same spot. Like just like you got the second right. There's a bump in the middle there, straight in the wall.
Yep, that'll get you every time. Yep.
Yeah, so I had to learn that trick, and so basically, me, Kester, and Trent, we all started staffing back, and we thought, everyone will crash up the hill. We'll get awesome places.
Yep.
They didn't do that, so we had to actually push through. Followed Kester a few times. I'd catch him and then he'd pull away, and then someone would take him out and I'd get past him, so it was all good. And
I was going to say, one of the things we were surprised about, apart from that battle there that Ben brought home 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, there wasn't too many. There weren't too many positional battles in the backstage of the race. You personified that down there in P13 and did very well not to get lapped in the grand scheme of things. Quickly get your thoughts on Phillip Island and Bathurst. You were overconfident going to Watkins Glen. You can't afford to be overconfident going to Bathurst, but what about Phillip Island?
No, well, yeah, like Phillip Island, this is the first game I've ever had to go play that, so I've had a couple of goes with other cars, but you're definitely more practice needed, given I've only been simming for the last 4 weeks, so that probably was a mistake on my part to not practice more of this one. But speaking of that, like being the last and lead lap, my crew chief, he didn't have as much confidence in me. He only gave me enough fuel for 39 laps. So he thought Poss was going to get me, but he didn't. So I had to save a lot on that last lap. Ran out across the line. So just perfect.
Excellent. No, you couldn't have timed that any better. Well done, mate. We'll come back to you shortly.
Adam, I just have to say quickly, I mentioned it during the stream, but you wouldn't have heard because you were racing. We've been trying to get these cameras done that you've been offering me for several weeks now, and I do apologize for the fact that I'm always busy. So tomorrow we are sitting down and we're going to put these flash new cameras through the system. So that's Adam, who we're just talking to, who's setting that up for us. So thank you very much for that, mate. I'm looking forward to it.
Problem. Yeah, trying to get some race quality race cams is what I'm aiming for. So a bit like the V8 supercars and all that sort of stuff. Just some onboard cameras in the right spots.
And maybe some trackside and curb cams as well, boy.
I haven't worked on those yet. That's something I have to work on.
All right.
They're tough because you got to do them on each track.
Yeah. No, I was going to say, if you know who can get them done for a Wednesday night, I'm sure that the Gentlemen's Racing Club will be able to get it done in due course as well. I have faith, gentlemen.
We've had a request from Ads Ariel's family to interview him if he's online. I didn't see him on the chat, so if anyone's got any access to him, get him on Discord and we'll get him on for a chat.
Yeah, for sure. They've been very big supporters of him tonight, haven't they? Nothing like a bit of family pride.
Absolutely. I don't think I could have shown enough of his car on the stream to keep them happy. I did my best.
There was a lot. The Neapolitan car, as I like to call it, that was fantastic. Let me go Who haven't I chatted to yet? Dean Ross is in the chat room, finished 7th in all of that, just ahead of Jono Hill, and I'll come to Jono in just a moment because I can see him sitting in there as well. Dean, the closing laps, a cracking battle between you, Jono, and Brock Payne and even Brendan Jackson as well. 6th, 7th, 8th, and 9th. It looked like a busy night at the office for you lot.
No, it wasn't just the closing laps there. It was all the way through pretty much. The only break we got was a safety car, I think. So, no, it was an awesome battle. Do have to apologise to Brendan Whitaker. My pit entry was a bit questionable, and I think he paid the price for it in a way. So, Sorry, mate.
I'm sure all will be forgiven there. Hey, talk to me about, because obviously we talk about it being a big night at the office for you guys because you were involved in and had yourself absorbed in a battle right from go to woe. How much of a strain does that put on you in terms of your physical stamina across the course of an hour?
Not a lot, really. I'm sure it would be different if it was a real car, but
yep.
Yeah, I've spent a lot of hours in the sim, and I could happily do 14, 15 hours of a 24-hour race. I've done it before. As I said, real cars, a little bit different.
Of course.
Tonight, it was all good. This car is a little bit more physical. Like, your shoulders do start to hurt a little bit if you got the steering wheel cranked up, but no, it's all a bit of fun, really.
The main reason I asked that is because I was talking to Nick earlier when he was commentating and racing in the prod car race, and he said that he had the jumper on to accommodate the winter climate, but he had the aircon on to accommodate the sweat that he was working up behind the wheel.
Yeah, no, I recently moved down to Melbourne from Cairns, and
you're right. Then you need a heater.
If I didn't have the aircon in at 22 degrees in Cairns, the VR would fog up. So that's not an issue anymore. So save on the power bill a little bit, which is
rug up. There's no doubt about that. I know a few friends in Melbourne, one that's recently moved there from up here as well in Ipswich, and the advice was make sure you buy winter woolies, and you'll get about 8 months of the year use out of them. No doubt about that, mate. Well, I was going to say. You must have been delighted to get to the front of that battle, albeit for Brendan Jackson. You just couldn't get to him in the end, and Benny cleared out in closing stages. But you were right there or thereabouts, and it must have been nice to get at least by Jono and Brock in the closing stages, and what was an enthralling battle for us to commentate, and I'm sure an enthralling battle for you to be involved in.
Yeah, no, it's I haven't spent a lot of time in this car. I've probably only spent maybe 4 or 5 hours in this car in the last 12 months or so. So tonight was all about learning to make the tyres last, and I thought I had something for him at the end there by holding on the tyres, but in the end I think it was Jono just drove away, so I just thought I had something for him, but he obviously knows how to hold on the tyres a bit longer, so good job.
Excellent. Adam Ariel's in the chat room. We'll get to him in a moment. The Adam Ariel fan club keeping us busy tonight. Don't worry about that. Good to have you on board, Adam. I firstly want to just move around here and go to Jono Hill. Jono, the only car that we saw upside down at any point during that race. Tell us what happened.
One. I've never finished in the top 10 and been on my roof in the same race, so but no, I think going side by side through the S's is never really a good idea, and I thought I could have held it, but I think I could have kept it pretty straight, but there's not a lot of room up there, so ended up getting some contact and onto the lid. But I think I always use Sam Collins as a bit of a benchmark. Been a mate of mine at the 12-hour, and we seem to have similar pace. So I think I probably had the pace to be up there tonight, but strategy didn't quite play out. And a bit of contact that was I probably could have been a bit more relaxed through the race and kind of just kept it straighter and cleaner and been up there. But I'm not too disappointed. Top 10 and not a bad run.
Glenn Postlethwaite's just left our chat room. We wish him all the best, and we look forward to his company again next week. Well done again to our race winner tonight. Stick around, though, folks. Don't go to bed just yet. Friday night, plenty of people to have a chat to here. We're currently chatting to Jono Hill. Tell us about the race. Apart from the rollover and the crash and everything else, mate, to redeem it from there, finish in the 8, as you say, and to be involved in that battle with Brock and Dean and Brendan and Snelly towards the end there, it was captivating to watch. Tell us about the night from your standpoint post-crash, because there would have been a little bit of redemption work needed.
Yeah, sure. I think this track really it doesn't reward over driving, and if you get a bit the red mist comes down and you sort of get a bit frustrated and push, you just cost you tenths. And I think there were times there I was closing up to Dean, and then I'd sort of get a bit overexcited and he'd pull away again. And I think it's just the nature of this track. Once the race had gone the way it had, I was probably holding out for a break from those guys, and credit to them for not coming through with it and leaving me down in eighth. It was a good run.
Indeed, and obviously a great track for these cars. What are your thoughts going towards Phillip Island and Bathurst, mate?
Phillip Island's probably going to be fairly similar in terms of tyre wear with the long corners. Bathurst, there's probably some secret practice going on right up and down the leaderboard here with Bathurst coming up. It's going to be very
And I guess the other thing too, and we'll throw this around the room in a moment. So have a think about it, boys, because I'm going to pose the question to a few of you. The potential for extra entries, because obviously, whilst we've got a collective of regulars here, Bathurst seems to bring in a few stragglers and a few ring-ins. So take that into consideration going into Bathurst and what it's going to mean for not only race strategy, but also quality, traffic management, and a few other things as well. I'll come back and touch on that in just a moment. Adam Ariel, are you there?
I am.
Excellent. I've seen the light flashing up. I just didn't know if we were getting anything from you. But, mate, well done. Not an easy car to learn, not an easy track for these cars, but always one that throws up entertainment. We couldn't have shown enough of you tonight, fan club, to be satisfied, and you brought it home in 20th to keep them cheering all the way, mate. Well done.
Thank you. I was just trying to keep the nose clean the whole race, so that was the goal.
And also, I guess a little part of it would have been trying to steer out of or keep out of the way of the guys that were coming through. I mean, you finished 3 laps down. You weren't the lowest laps down in the field. There were some that were 4 and 8 and whatever else. But was it difficult keeping an eye on your mirror and also continuing to try and learn the craft of what you've now just started doing here with the iRacing with us here in the Gentleman Sim Racing Club? And then taking into consideration that, yes, I've got to keep an eye on the mirrors and let these guys through and not ruin their race?
Yeah, there's a lot to do. Like, I literally just built my PC about a week and a half ago, so I'm brand new to this.
Brand new to it. And by the sounds of the way you're talking, looking forward to more. You've enjoyed what you've experienced so far.
Yeah, there's a great bunch of guys to hang out with because they're quite happy to teach me. They've knocked easily about 5 seconds off my lap times just hanging out with them. So can only go up from here, I guess.
Well done, mate. Fantastic race tonight. And obviously with, I guess, development and learning comes improvement. So we look forward to following your progress over the next couple of weeks and see if you can improve on 20th. Well done.
Thanks, guys. See you later.
Excellent. Great stuff. Hang there. Listen to the chat. Feel free to chime in at any point. I'm going to go and just quickly have a chat to Nick Windsor here because he's the one that I haven't touched base with yet. Nick, I'm just having a look at the results here. 12th place for you, mate. 11 seconds behind Laves. 26 seconds ahead of... that was... You had a Laver side to side. It was a Windsor and a Laver sandwich. You had Trent at 11 seconds up the road and Adam 26 seconds down the road. Would I be right to assume that it was potentially a lonely race for you tonight?
Yeah, I had a couple of battles in there. Had a contact about 3 laps in, and luckily I was able to keep driving the car. And from there, I just stuck to a clean race and pitted right in time, right in front of that safety car. So that really helped me bring up. I think it put me into the top 10 there. But yeah, I just tried to keep my nose clean. I saw Trent and that come through, and I just made it easy for them and let them pass because they had way more pace on me. But judging by my pace and practice and qualifying, and that I'm pretty happy with where I finished. And based on my speed, and each week I'm sort of finishing further and further up. So I'll just keep on going.
Indeed, and as far as the track was concerned, how'd you enjoy Watkins Glen?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I think it suited the car quite well. I wait for Phillip Island Bathurst. Those are going to be good. But no, I really like this track.
Indeed. Now, as far as the next 2 weeks are concerned, what are you most looking forward to?
Yeah, definitely Bathurst. It's going to be very interesting, and I think there's going to be a fair bit of carnage there. But I'm definitely looking forward to that one.
Well, carnage would be par for the course, no doubt, and something that we have anticipated in previous events, but hasn't been delivered. So we'll see if Bathurst delivers it in a couple of weeks' time. Good on you, mate. Thank you for that. Stick there though, because we'll throw the conversation around now. And the first thing, let's touch on something from the real world, boys, because as much as we're having fun on a Friday night, it's a shame that Callum Watmore's not here, because I know he would have been all over it like a cheap rag. How nice was it this week, Chris Whitaker, to be able to flick it onto Fox Sports and watch the real world stuff at Darlington as a sign of things are finally starting to begin to get back to normal?
To be honest, I missed that one.
Oh, come on, Chris, you let me down.
It's been one of those weeks, my friend. But, mate, I mean, the other side of it, to see QR and Lakeside back open now, obviously with limited numbers and the likes, it's great to see that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. And obviously we're just looking forward to when we can actually get out there and go door to door and have a play with the boys again. But, good things come to those who wait, I guess.
Well, that's exactly right. They're proposing like a 10 car per category mini race meeting for 2 hour slots next Sunday, I think it is. I haven't heard anything on that, but if they need a commentator, they have my number. So it'll be just nice to get back into the box there at QR and deliver some radio content for the boys here in Ipswich as well. Did anyone actually get to see that NASCAR race this week? Or the two of them, I should say. Kester?
Certainly did.
Yeah, what'd you make of it, mate?
Well, I've always been a bit of a Chase Elliott fan. I felt a bit like him tonight, but that particular event was pretty funny, and it's good to see them getting back at it again, and I'm sure they're all enjoying it, but it's been fantastic to see. I mean, any motorsport at the moment that we get to see that's real and live rather than... The replays are alright, but they don't do it quite justice. But it's been good to see something on, and you can tell they're all raring to go. They had some pretty good battles there and got into each other. It was quite good to watch.
MotoGP week on Fox Sports has been delivering the goods as well on 507. If you haven't already got around that, boys.
And I have to say, just for those, looking for sport and stuff, I've had my sports itch sort of scratched a little bit by the Last Dance on Netflix, which is the Chicago Bulls documentary. Is fantastic. So if anyone hasn't seen that, I highly recommend. If you're wanting to watch something sport related, jump on and give that a go.
I've still got to finish Formula One Drive to Survive seasons 1 and 2. I'm that far behind, but then that'll be on the list as well. Don't worry about that.
There is a lot of content on there. I've been working my way through since we haven't had much else to watch.
Oh yeah, exactly right. No, I'm very lucky that I've been able to get myself occupied without wholly and solely relying on Netflix, but Stan's got a good workout. Hey, let's look. The main reason I asked that is because obviously for the guys at the racetrack, and you guys know this from being at QR and Lakeside and other places as well, nothing beats the smell of burning rubber and fuel and everything else. There's just something very special about the smell of a racetrack. So it's good to see that NASCAR's coming back into life. And the other thing as well, we've got some. We're going to Nick in just a moment. He's got some news to deliver. And the other thing as well, it just goes to show that even though there wasn't a crowd there, it didn't lack any atmosphere. It didn't lack any intensity, and that was the really good thing. Hopefully, it'll be the same for the NRL, the AFL, and even the supercars when they get back going. Nick, some news from tonight's race. There were a few drivers that aren't with us in here tonight.
Yeah, so fourth place Sam Collins had to jet off. He had a pretty easy race. Just had to get in front of some of the shenanigans that was happening, and he was off to the races there. So he went from 7th to 4th. Pretty good race there. Brock Payne also had to jet off as well. He only took two tyres each of the 2 stops. So and obviously stopping a little bit earlier than most people, he was done by the time that angry pack got to him. So
probably ruined that decision.
Yeah, John O'Hill pounced on him on the last lap into the first corner, so that was that. And he won't be turning up next week. He's got some other commitments to take care of.
Unlucky.
He got 0 incidents that race too, so it's a cracking effort.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. I was building up to it. You beat me to it.
Sorry,
Good on you,
mate, it's
Trent.
cream out of your donut as always.
Yeah,
That's it, exactly.
So Brock Payne did keep it clean the whole race. Even with people passing him and him passing people, he got 0 incidents, and so did Chris Whitaker. I think they were the only 2 of the cars who actually completed laps who got 0 incidents.
No,
So
well done.
to you guys.
Yes, well
Trent
done,
got
Mr.
2
Whitaker.
points, two incident points, and so did Brendan Jackson. So,
Yeah.
Yeah, well done to all 4 of you.
Yeah, well done indeed. No, a very clean night from those guys. And I guess, Trent, as I come to you, I mean, there were a couple of incidents that caught our attention, but we normally expect carnage when we go to Watkins Glen. We were so far from that, it wasn't funny tonight. We had 1, 2, maybe 3 big incidents, and the rest of it was little off-track grass clippings or spins or anything like that wasn't major. Is it fair to say that the Gentlemen's Racing Club has just changed the face of stock car racing by keeping it that clean at Watkins Glen?
Oh, all the lads did a really good job doing this race. I think there was only a handful of a couple of little blues in the race. I had a little one at the start there, but luckily it was 0x for me. But yeah, the guys that are coming in that are new, that are learning how these guys race against each other, everyone keeps it super clean. I think me and Dan Ackland there had a really great little battle there when we were coming through the field. We kept it super clean, super tight. It was great fun, following him around and putting the pressure on. And I managed to pip him, but he pipped me back at the end of the race. So well done to Dan. I didn't get a chance to mention him before. But yeah, everyone's keeping it super clean. It's fantastic. And congratulations to everybody for that effort.
Indeed. Now, Benny Snell, I'll bring you back into the conversation because we'll share it around, share the love, as they say. When you look at Watkins Glen, it's one of only 2 regular stock car venues we've seen in our calendar thus far. It was the last of them as well, because the other one being motorsport. But this was the main one that we see for the Cup cars. How nice was it after running, places like Road Atlanta and Spa that wouldn't normally host this form of racing at the top level? How nice was it to be on a Cup circuit, albeit in an Xfinity car, and have that vibe of, hang on, this is what the real boys do?
Yeah, it's great to drive on a track that feels a lot more natural than say something like Road Atlanta or Spa for sure. I was really disappointed I missed out last week. I had some stuff take my attention, so I missed motorsport, and that was actually the one track I was looking forward to all season, because I absolutely love motorsport. Every time the trucks go there and officials, I do a lot of racing there that week. So it's good to go out and drive a track, and knowing as you come over the crest through turn 3 and the car gets loose in third and you grab 4th gear to settle it down, that's pretty much what the guys will be doing in real life as well. So it's great knowing that the muscle memory is kind of thing, like the actions that you're doing are a lot closer replicated than stuff you see, us banging through the bus stop at Spa.
Yeah, yeah, exactly right. And that comes back to just, I guess, the way iRacing has changed the face of online of gaming. I mean, this is a simulated real world experience, to the point that, the PlayStation can't deliver you that sort of entertainment, nor could any other platform before iRacing come along. To know that you're virtually doing, without the blood, sweat and tears, without the wear and tear on your body, what the guys are doing. This is why this platform has not only been so popular before COVID-19, but will be more popular on the flip side of COVID-19. You there, Benny?
Oh yeah, sorry. I was off in Narnia. The one thing I'm looking forward to is obviously with all this COVID stuff happening, is everyone's been really splurging out on the sim gear, which is a lot of people haven't been able to find it. So I'm looking forward to the guys that have jumped in while they can't race, that want to go back to racing and don't feel the sim is quite their cup of tea. I'm just waiting for all those juicy sim parts to be on sale at a nice reasonable price.
Aren't
in the
we
coming
all?
weeks.
Oh, I wouldn't mind upgrading to some Fanatec gear. Actually, I'm borrowing some gear from Nick. Thank you very much, Nick. But if some Fanatec gear pops up cheap, you know.
Yeah, I've got the pedals. I've got the Fanatec pedals, but my Thrustmaster wheel's about 8 years old now, and she's starting to show some signs of wear.
The longer this conversation goes on, I'm just sensing that the Gentleman Sim Racing Club group page will now have a subsidiary page that says the Gentleman Sim Racing Club Classifieds.
Yeah, buy and
all
sell.
you boys are looking to buy, shop, and sell.
I think we might already have that.
Oh, okay. Well, in that case, then hop to it because you boys will be quite busy on the flip side of COVID-19. But it's a point that Nick and I were touching on a couple of weeks ago on Trent as well. The fact that you guys have been so loyal and so committed to the sim racing over the last few weeks. When we go back to the real world stuff, there's going to be a little bit of balancing going on, work, lifestyle, fun, pleasure, whatever else, to make sure that you can still incorporate as much sim racing as well as the real world stuff. Isn't that right, Trent?
Yeah, mate. Well, I should actually turn some spinners on the car and get it ready so it's actually drivable.
Exactly.
It's been sitting on jack stands for about 4 months now, and haven't made much progress. So I probably should do that and probably take it for a strap up the road. Luckily for me, my race car is registered, unlike most of the other guys. But,
Yeah, Rage race cars.
Nice.
Was it
Mine's in
street
for
car race car?
Mine's in for a tune next week, Trent. Let's go do some suspension on it as well, and we'll. Now that I'm not working out at the track, I might be able to get out for some laps. So...
Can it actually turn a corner, but?
No, it's a Mustang. It goes through crowds. It doesn't turn corners.
Right, so it can turn 90 degrees into a crowd, but it can't turn around the corner.
We just have to put crowds around the corner of the track, and I just bounce off them. That's how it works.
Rob, the drag strips at the start of Champions Way. You'll be right.
Oh, okay. Just bouncing off. Speaking of bouncing off things, bouncing off Zach's question there. For anyone who's in the chat, what do you think the effect will be of the guys that have spent this downtime in the Sims, because they've been honing their racecraft while a lot of people have been sitting around not knowing what to do with themselves, might not have been on the Sims? Do you think that's going to have an effect going into the first races? Do you think the ones that have been in here training might, have a bit of an edge heading back into the real world racing?
I'm going to quote what Neil Crompton said on Wednesday night. Is someone like Shane Van Gisbergen doesn't want to spend too much time on there, just in case he makes some bad habits. Even though they've been spending 10 hours a day, so
like trying to press the button after you've had a crash to go back to the pits and realizing it's not going to work anymore.
It's funny you say that. So I was lucky enough to run at Bathurst last year, last weekend of November. So when we sort of got to the point where I was definitely going back in sort of July, August, I made sure from that point that I was right foot braking on my sim. I was using the clutch and things like that, because I did actually notice one time in a practice session that I'd been out to at QR a long time since I'd been in the in the real thing. And I went to jump on the left foot brake and pull on a shifter that doesn't exist. So, or pull paddles that don't exist. So, there's definitely bad habits that can be learnt. There's no doubt about that. But I guess the flip side of that, for me, when I went to Bathurst, for argument's sake, I was stuck, I don't know how many hours into the sim. And in fact, we threw my old man in the sim before he went to Bathurst and Laguna Seca as well to learn the track. So it's definitely got benefits, but there is a risk attached to it as well.
On the subject of sim prep time, Trent, how much time goes into Phillip Island next week and Bathurst the week after?
Well, I'm on a good run of doing bugger all practice and doing all right, so I'm gonna go balls to the wall and rock up on Friday evening with the bourbon in hand and a spiced cola?
That's it, spiced cola.
And have a crack. I think the strategy seems to be working out for me. I tend to not overdrive the car when I've just learnt the track basically in the car. So I tend to drive around about 80-90%, and I seem to make it to the end of the race without binning it myself. Except for those 2 times tonight, but we won't go there. But the frequency of those issues happening is a lot lower when I'm not too honed in on the track, I suppose we'll call it that. In these cars especially, seeing as they're so on edge to drive at the limit.
Yeah, indeed. When you think about it, it's actually a fair point. Spiced cola, I can't get past that. I'm sure you've got some of the home brew on standby for post race celebrations as well, mate.
Only 16 bottles, mate. I need to stock
Good
back
boy.
up again. Hit up the old boy.
Only 16. Jeez.
Yeah, I'm running low.
I was going to say, if you're into Ipswich, feel free to just flick one near the mailbox there. I'll be right. Geez, actually, that's a bad idea.
The old boy's
drink them.
watching, mate. He might, if you want to put in an order, we'll do a border jump and do some.
Do a border jump? Look, the sooner they bring those bloody borders down, the better, as far as I'm concerned. But if it means homebrew, I'm all for it. Even more so, I'll ramp up the campaign. That and bloody daylight saving. There's a few things that need to be improved in Queensland. Anyway,
let's not get him started.
No, don't get me started. Exactly right. It's been a long week. Hey, Chris, I'll come back to you since you've chimed in there. The point that I was making earlier before we got involved in interviewing Adam and a few others, look at a couple of weeks' time. The traffic that we've had in some of these races so far has been bad. When you throw up a server that says Bathurst, you normally get a larger field. Are you expecting more interest in that race, more cars, therefore more traffic, potentially more trouble?
Yep.
Simple answer. Your thoughts on all of that, though?
It's yeah. Look, I probably went a little bit overboard on comms, so I apologise to Adam during the race there as well. I actually didn't realise it was this fresh to the to the iRacing network. With only being a week in, and I gave him a bit of a spray on over comms there when I was a little bit held up there on the second last lap, so I apologise to Adam there. But yeah, look, when it comes to Bathurst, every man his dog, I imagine, is going to be in that race. So yeah, there's going to be carnage. It's a guarantee. You know, Bathurst always delivers that. It's just going to be a matter of trying to be smart with your pit strategies to try, I guess, keep some clean track. Long runs are going to be key, but then that random safety car is probably going to throw a spanner in the works for a lot of people. I guess similar to what happened with Trent tonight.
Indeed. Nick, I'm right in saying that the Bathurst race is a longer one, isn't it?
No, I've still got it set at 60 minutes. So it's 25 laps at the moment, but it could change.
Okay.
It could change.
Okay. Because I was thinking for some reason it was double length. Is that just the production car?
That's the production cars.
Okay.
Production cars will have a normal length one on the first week, and then the following week they'll have a double. It'll be an endurance, I guess, a semi-endurance.
All right. Cool. All right. So we'll wait and see. The stock car one may be a little bit long. Tell you what, if they're both long races on the same night, we'll be here till 1 a.m. But no, that's okay. The more the better. At the moment, we're all soaking in the entertainment as much as we can as we prepare for a return to normal whenever that is possible. I don't know when that's going to be either. Trent, what are your thoughts? Obviously, when you look at Bathurst, think bigger field, and obviously not an easy track for any car, let alone a stock car, with especially big braking zones there at the end of Mountain Straight and Conrod as well.
Yeah, I think Conrod's going to be a bit of a spanner in the works. I've never driven these things around there, but I tend to have a bit of a knack getting across the top of the hill in most cars. So I'll have a crack, see how it goes, and I'll let you know. But yeah, it's going to be definitely going to be interesting. It's going to be line astern from the cutting all the way to Phillip Island. Phillip Island. All the way to the elbow. Hey, we did that on the motorbikes once. That was a long trip.
I was going to say, that's the comment of the night. All the way from the cutting to Phillip Island, brilliant. No, but that might be actually the week where you have to just put in a bit of extra time on the sim, yeah?
Oh,
I'll call it 5 laps and we'll call it a draw then.
Okay,
that'll be
fair enough.
5 laps extra than normal, so we'll see.
You'd be surprised, Zach. I barely did any laps in the production car race tonight in practice.
Yeah.
But you learn on the fly as well. You're like, I can go a bit deeper here. Oh, I can carry the brake a bit more here. And your lap times start dropping and you end up being faster than you were in practice anyway.
And you get a huge benefit if you're sneaky and you jump into the fast guys' cars and see what they're doing in relation to what you do. You can learn a few things there more so than you can do on your own most of the time. That's what my old man's really good at, watching what other guys are doing in relation to yourself and extracting more speed that way.
Beautiful. Nick, anything else that we should add before we go into the wrap-up and the analysis?
Not really. I think we've covered most of it tonight. We've done pretty well. Tonight ran very, very well. I mean, it was one car on its lid, and he recovered to finish 8th as well. So people still learning. I was quite surprised to see only 13 cars on the lead lap. would have thought that the Brendan Whittaker Kesterwood came back to Smith and John McLaughlin would have stayed on the lead lap, but it was a hot pace at the front, admittedly. So if you got caught out with pit stops and penalties, all that kind of stuff, yeah, you went a lap down. So
also the fact that there was only one caution as well.
yeah, and we were predicting maybe possibly 2 at the start of the race, and possibly a big pile up at turn 1, which I'm really surprised. The guys did a really good job, and it's one of those things. You start difference between a public server and a hosted server is you start learning the guys around you. They're regulars in week out, so you can actually kind of go, okay, he's a bit kamikaze, I'll stay away from him. Oh, he's good, I can drive side by side with him. So and it's starting to show now. We're week 8 out of a 10-week or 10 race season, and no carnage at turn 1. Unlike if we wind the clock back to Summit Point or somewhere like that. So yeah, they've done well.
Actually, Monday night at Summit Point, that was just insane. Trent, you were involved in the GT series. So we've got, obviously, GT's coming up again on Monday night, Daytona Road Course. That's the circuit but obviously a different car. Summit Point was madness on Monday night, wasn't it?
Yeah, I got caught up in some lap traffic, unfortunately, which ruined my race. But it's all part of the game. You know, some people get lucky, some people don't. I know Dennis last week got wiped out, and Brady this week actually had it in the bag. He drove really well. He was the man to beat.
That's exactly right.
And just got caught up with, it was Nico, wasn't it? He had an accident in the first corner there, just unfortunate. But, it happens to the best of us, man. You know, I've done the same thing a couple of times before. So, it's all good fun. I think you put 50 cars on a track that's a minute long, it's going to be interesting no matter what you do, really.
One of the questions I didn't ask before we wrap things up, sorry, who was chiming in there?
I was just going to say, I'm just impressed that Trent didn't drive into me this week.
You drove into who?
It's the first
Who
one,
drove
everything,
into
mate.
who? You drove into the side of me last week.
Now, ladies.
I will let you two teammates sort out your own dilemma elsewhere, okay? We've got to keep this short because we're already over time as it is. But,
Speaking of Nico, he's posted in the Facebook chat that he said, "Hi gents, the steak was good." So I'm not sure if he was out eating steak or if he meant to say stream.
He was cooking.
He was cooking steak? Okay.
He's cooking a big feast.
Fantastic. Well, it sounds
rare
good.
Or bust.
Absolutely.
Steak is. I've got pork chops there ready to heat up for dinner, but steak tomorrow night now on the back of that. And who was it? That was Glenn Postlethwaite who said, "Take the squid off the barbie, bin it, and put a steak on." So yeah, no, that's understandable as well. Hey, Chris, just finally back to you, and then Nick and I will start wrapping things up and let you guys go. You mentioned giving poor old Adam a spray there on the chat window earlier, which, I mean, it happens in the heat of the battle. But what was the chat room like tonight? Because somewhere like Monday night at Summit Point, it was off the scale. It was ridiculous. It was the point where not even Nick could listen to it and commentate at the same time. How intense was the chat there throughout the course of the 40 minutes, or was it fairly subdued given the lack of carnage we saw?
Yeah, I don't think it was too bad. I think I probably said more than anyone else on the server, just for a change. But that's it. So it wasn't too bad. Most of the chat was just coming through, let me through, left, right, inside, outside, whatever else. But I guess the chat through the Discord between myself and Brendan was a little bit of a different story. He decided to bin it a couple of times, but for the most part, in this series compared to other series that I've raced in, it's actually pretty good. Most people just sort of stay off it and don't get into arguments or anything like that. Last week there was a little bit of argy-bargy, but it got shut down pretty quick.
And I was going to say, it goes to show, though, that, I mean, you wouldn't normally have the opportunity. So this is one of the great things, obviously, for those of you playing along at home, folks. And I've just seen Nick pop back up in shot there. So we're getting ready to wrap things up here. One of the great things about sim racing as opposed to the real world stuff, in the real world, you can talk to your team. You can potentially talk to your teammates when you're out on the racetrack. When you're in the middle of the game here, you can talk to everyone. And the attitude is, once the helmet goes on, once the lights go green, it's all business. There's no hit and giggle rubbish here. You guys are there to win, and it's reflected by the chat there sometimes, Chris.
Yeah, exactly right. We sort of, a lot of us tip a lot of hours into this. Some of us, like Glenn, are gifted and just go, hell for leather and smash us all. But when you tip hours into it, I guess it's similar to the supercar guys. I don't know if anyone's been reading the inverted commas banter that's going forwards and backwards in that. There's more than banter in that. There's a lot of it that's it's probably starting to push the line. They probably have to start roping them in with the position that those guys are in. But there are a few idiots in that group as well.
Will Power and IndyCar.
And IndyCar as well, that's right. And a bit of pulling going on, Nick. Chris, I think, with the supercars ranks. But anyway, go on.
Yeah, exactly right. So I've lost my train of thought now completely. So I'll say,
pulling their heads in commentary.
Pulling their heads, yeah, exactly. No, you're right, and that's the thing. Like, I mean, I think one of the Twitch feeds was the talk of town a couple of weeks ago after one of the eSeries races. So yeah, it's a grey area. There's no doubt about that. Quickly, folks, anyone chime in here? What's the plans for the weekend? What would have been an all-nighter on Sunday night with Monaco into Indianapolis is just a whole heap of reruns on Fox and the like around the country. What are your thoughts? What's the plan of attack going into the weekend? And when do we start to look at not only Monday night, but also Friday night in terms of GTs and production cars and also stock cars? No comment from anyone.
I'll chime in. I'll have a crack at the practice session on Sunday. Paul put up, so that should
for
be
Daytona.
Fun. Yeah, just to try out the new format and see how it all plays out, and give any feedback the boys need to help try and make it the best race we can have on Monday night.
And looking forward to seeing you there, mate. Chris, what about you? What's the plan for the next 7 days?
So we'll stick a few hours practice in for Phillip Island, obviously, through the week. But other than that, just the usual, mate. Catch up with a couple of mates over the weekend, and a couple of beers, and we'll go.
And the one thing we forgot to ask, the livery. What was the inspiration this week, and what's the inspiration or plan for next week?
So this week was my best attempt at replicating Brendan's MX-5. Next week I'm going to have a crack at my Z, but that's a little bit more difficult. So hopefully it comes out all right and looks respectable. We'll see how we go.
Who was running the M&M livery there tonight?
That was Craig Russell.
Yeah, okay. And I reckon that was one of my favourites tonight, just because back about a decade ago when Kyle Busch was running the M&M's livery, it was yellow, and you all know my favourite colour is yellow. So when I saw the M&M's, I was like, here we go. It's the wrong colour, but it's an M&M. It's something relatable. Boys, we'll wrap it up there unless anyone else wants to chime in. Anything else? Here's your chance. Anyone? Going once, twice, third and final time. No sailors, Glenridge would say.
Driver tonight.
Driver, yeah, no, we'll get into that. That's why I wanted to wrap up with you drivers for a moment and come back to Nick. Driver of the night, because there are a few candidates here.
There are quite a few candidates. A lot of guys making their way from the back of the field. A lot of guys just absolutely wiping the field for 32 laps led. But some notable mentions, I like to note Chris Whitaker on 0 incidents, highest placed on 0 incidents.
Points. Yep.
So that's really good. Brock Payne as well, 0 incidents, the only two to make 0 incidents. Then you got Trent, and who's the other person I saw? Brendan on 2 incidents. So very good to those 4 drivers. A really, really top effort. But my vote, if you got this on camera, I don't know if you can see that. Oop, get my fingers out of the way. No, it's backwards. All right, Snellivision. Ben Snell from 22nd up to 5th place there. I know he's got a lot of incident points, but he kept it on the island. He's still looking at the times. He had the pace, even if he did start at the front. So my vote goes to Ben.
Nicely done, mate.
Solid.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll agree with that. I won't throw in another vote there. I reckon Nick's pretty much nailed it with Benny Snell, so he gets the driver of the night. Well done, mates. And again, incident points are expected when you're coming through the pack, but to come through the pack 22nd to 5th, got the best of the strategy as best as you could. No one was catching Glenn Postlethwaite. but to be the best of that next pack, if you like, outside the top 4, and then be awarded driver of the night as voted by Nick, you've got to be happy with what you're taking away from tonight.
Oh yeah, can't complain. I'm gonna take that and run to the bank. And the I think there's 5 bonus points for most places gained as well.
Yep.
So yeah, I'll take those too, please.
and rightly so. I mean, 17 positions. Yes, it's a little bit of an easier track to overtake on, say, than a Summit Point or a where else have we been? It's not so easy. Maybe Road Atlanta or a few others like that. But you know, to do it and to do it well to the point where, as you say, strategy worked in your favour. The safety car fell in good nick for you. Yeah, no, a very well constructed race from you tonight, mate. So, Nick, you're holding up 2 fingers at me.
I'm saying peace.
Oh, you're saying peace.
I can see I'm on the feed, so I might as well.
Oh, okay, fair enough. Sorry, I thought you were signalling to me there for a moment. I can see you up on the feed.
Was that our 2-minute warning?
Yeah, 2-minute warning. Yeah, no, we are going to wrap things up here. The other thing that I will say is Brockheim. Brockheim, we've got to continue to highlight the youngster here because, yeah, okay, maybe a wrong call on the tyres, but he still held his own in the midst of what was a pretty hard-fought battle in the back end of that race. And to come home in 9th, yeah, no, very well done. Trent was unlucky, I have to say, because you know he came through the field so beautifully, burned from the stern, as you'd call it, and then got undone by the deployment of the course car, and then obviously it all turned to you-know-what from there. And, yeah, but I think you pretty much nailed it with Benny Snell. Nicely done. So, now we look ahead, you and I, Nick, because there's so much to look forward to for the Gentleman Sim Racing Club, but also Doadrift Esports as well. Doadrift Esports will be back with you on Tuesday night with the Blendline series, but from our standpoint, it's Monday night. It's around 8:20 we'll be with you, and this will be for our exclusive coverage of, what are we up to, round 4 of the GT series. We've had 3 different winners in as many weeks in the GT series. This week we head to the Daytona Road Course, Daytona Beach, Florida. That'll be an absolute beauty over 40 minutes, I should say. When you think about Daytona, you think of the potential for daytime, nighttime, twilight, right? There'll be something special come Monday night. And GT cars you'd normally associate with that with the 24, of course, held in January. So we're looking forward to all of that on Monday night. And as Nick said, 2 servers for that one. So if you want to be in the main show, you got to qualify well. And there's a practice session being held on Sunday. Nick, just explain that to us before we wrap things up, how this is all going to work so that the best drivers feature prominently in our broadcast on Monday night.
Yeah, so we're going to run 2 servers. We're going to run I guess, sorted by, as far as I can tell, we're going to sort it by the fastest drivers in the first server and divide them evenly. So obviously the more the merrier. And then that way everybody gets a fair crack at it. We'll see how it runs. There might be different ways that we might do it, but we'll start seeing how this goes. If it's successful, we'll keep with it. If it's not, we'll try another way. So
yeah.
That grid was well oversubscribed on Monday night. I shouldn't have been on the track to begin with. Now I know what it's like to be a pinata.
That's right.
And yeah, there was still at least 5. I heard 5 guys talking about it, so there could be 5 to 10 guys waiting in the wings to be on that server. So we want to accommodate everybody, and we'll see how we go.
Kester, were you a bit of a pinata tonight? Did you get?
Yeah, I certainly felt like to be honest with you, after the first 2 laps, and Trent and I didn't manage to drive into each other, I was like, brilliant, we've got this sorted. And
that's all we need to make. All good.
100%. All right. No, good stuff. And the track density for Daytona for this one, Nick, for the road course?
I'm not sure. I'd say it'd be in the 60s, maybe 62.
Yeah, right. Yeah. All right. So we've got plenty of room to play with, is what we're saying.
And also next week and not this Sunday, not Sunday the, where are we?
24th.
24th. Sunday the 31st is my birthday race. Hosting a race there, Indianapolis 100. So we're doing 100 laps around Indianapolis in the very, very, very old Indy car. And I've got a sponsor coming on board, which I will announce this coming week, giving away some iRacing prize money too. So should be good.
We'll be streaming that one as well. Isn't that right?
Yes, we will be streaming that. So I don't know if I'll be in race reporting or trying to win the prize money, but yeah, should be good.
All right. What time is that, Nick?
That will kick off at around the same time as the stock car. So I think the race will kick off at around 8 o'clock.
All right. I can't commit to it at the moment because
there's plenty of other. I'm sure we can get somebody else to.
Yeah, no, that's all right. It's just that I don't know who's streaming it as yet, and I don't know who's behind it. But the Formula V boys have asked me to commentate an eSeries for them, and they're getting stuck into that. Dylan Thomas, actually, a member of the Gentlemen's Racing Club, is behind all of this, and they're getting that underway next Thursday and Sunday. So there's a good chance that I won't be able to do double duty. But I hope that goes well. IndyCar's 100 laps at Indy, of course. So that's 200 miles. So that'll be a big night for you guys. That'll be huge. I might be able to tap in halfway through. Looking forward to all of that. And, of course, Monday night, join us for that 8:20. Next Friday night, we don't have the clue for the production car race next Friday night, do we?
No, he hasn't sent us a clue. I'm just looking in my messages. No, nothing.
Maybe I've got nothing from that. Was probably a clue.
Sorry, what was that?
Maybe his steak clue might have been a clue for the next week. Who knows?
Yeah, maybe. Who knows? We'll wait and see. But no, looking forward to having Paul Nichols back with us next week. Looking forward to having all you boys back with us next week as well. Nick, it's always a pleasure to commentate alongside you on a Friday night. And of course, as I say, we look forward to having Nico back with us next week. So Monday night, 8:20 Eastern, we'll be with you for the GT3 GT4s from Daytona. That will be interesting. And of course, oversubscribed at some point. We may not be oversubscribed at Daytona, but we're going to have two servers. And it's good that the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club, if I can say this before we wrap things up, I know we're already well over time, but it's good they're working out ways and circling through options in which to try and incorporate as many people as they possibly can, because the more the merrier is the plan of attack there. And of course, it's a teething process just to find the right method. And with the assistance of all the members, I'm sure they'll reach that. And of course, next Friday night, the stock cars will roar around Phillip Island. So the production car race first, that'll be with you. We'll be live from around 6:45, 6:50, same as tonight. And of course, on the back end of that, to Phillip Island. The gateway to hypothermia, as Barry Sheen once labelled it, and it's a term that's stuck, unfortunately, for Phillip Island. But looking forward to getting there for what will be a great 1 hour of stock car racing. Well done again tonight, gentlemen. Glenn Postlethwaite, the winner. Michael Schreier, second. Chris Whitaker, third. Sam Collins, Ben Snell. And then Brendan Jackson, Dean Ross. John O'Hill, Brock Payne, Daniel Ackland, the top 10 in all of that. There were only 13 drivers on the lead lap in the end. First to second, 0.7 of a second. It was a form finish, a team 1-2. In fact, there's another guy that we should have maybe given a nod to for the driver of the day, because Michael Schreier, I think that was his highest result so far in the series in second there. So really well executed drive from him. And of course, that battle in the midfield there was absolutely fantastic as well. Top 10 separated in the end by 32 seconds, but there was a lot more action on track that would reflect a far better race than what those statistics would suggest. But no, that's it. We're done. It's another weekend in isolation for many of us as we wait for the tracks to get back to normal. Of course, I know QR and Lakeside both operating to a very different structure at the moment, but we're looking forward to getting the green light to have mass gatherings back, so just to a point where we can go proper motor racing again. But the sim racing's keeping us entertained in the meanwhile. Huge thanks to Doadrift Esports for providing the service for you tonight, the broadcast. We hope you've enjoyed it wherever you've been. Tuning in all around Australia, and to the 11 of you still with us on Facebook Live, thank you. If you haven't already done so, like the Doadrift Esports Facebook page. Keep up to date with when Rob's going live. And, of course, subscribe via the Twitch feed as well. Thanks to LJ Hooker Gaindar, to All Certs, and to Central Coast Subaru, and all the other great supporters of the Gentlemen's Sim Racing Club right here. And we look forward to having you with us again on Monday night. For Nick, for Rob, for the entire team, I'm Zach Cabin. We'll throw it back to Rob to wrap things up and say bye for now.
All right, thank you very much, guys. Thank you everyone who's joined us on Twitch and Facebook. The chats have been great. So you'll see that up on your screen now. So thank you very much, guys. As Zach said, we do have a lineup going forward for next week: Monday nights, Tuesday nights, and Friday nights. Plus, I do have my regular stream on a Wednesday. Thursday night seems to be the only free night during the week. So that's great. So thanks, guys, and we'll see you next time.
Houston, if you're ready, we'll maneuver. Reaching out. Rainbow Road. There is no place and no moment in history where I could stand and